Well. Just when everyone thought that Jerry Jones was going to drag out the firing of Matt Eberflus, instead, they decided to drag Matt Eberflus. And the Cowboys decided there's no time like the present. And the Cowboys have fired Matt Eberflus. And I am telling you, man, this is not just, we talk about Black Monday. Man, it is Black Tuesday. Matt Eberflus gets fired. I don't believe, no surprise to anyone. John Harbaugh actually got fired. Now, I think that is surprising the entire league. But John Harbaugh getting fired, y'all pay attention to what I'm telling you. John Harbaugh getting fired, I believe is actually going to help the Dallas Cowboys. Because some of those defensive coordinators who might have been in line for another head coaching job, they probably won't get it because of John Harbaugh. So the Cowboys have fired Matt Eberflus. Now the question is, what do they do next? Yeah! The Cowboys, the Joneses, continue to shock Cowboys Nation. I'm telling y'all now, y'all might as well give up on the same old Cowboys. These guys, every time they see they made a wrong move, they're correcting that move, and Matt Eberflus is a correction. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy hitters alike. I'm the G. I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And as you come into this live stream, please hit that like button, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know the next time we post another video or go live. And if you haven't become a channel member or subscriber yet, what are you waiting on? We have a lot more content coming up for the Dallas Cowboys this season. Now let's talk facts. Matt Eberflus. It was inevitable. There is no way, as I told y'all, there was no way that Jerry Jones could not fire Matt Eberflus. It was inevitable. I think Jerry Jones, not only because of the performance, even though I do believe that, we'll talk about it, but Matt Eberflus may have some legitimate arguments. But in the grand scheme of things, there is a disconnection with Matt Eberflus and players. And I think this is what Matt Eberflus needs to focus on. He needs to focus on what is the disconnection. Because if you have a disconnection with players, man, ain't nobody buying into that system. So Matt Eberflus is absolutely gone. So now the search is on. And I want the Cowboys to do their due diligence on this search. I don't want White Cotton being the defensive coordinator. I don't want anybody on the current Cowboys staff being the defensive coordinator. I would like for Jerry Jones to allow Brian Schottenheimer to have some input into who the defensive coordinator is. And they all put their heads together and they come up with who is the best candidate for these Dallas Cowboys. We got quite a few segments today. We're going to be listening to 105.3 The Fan quite a bit. They got people on there. They've been talking crazy, man. They dragging Matt Eberflus. Man, you know what's amazing to me? It's amazing to me when, you know, something is going on and people are so tight-lipped about it. Boy, when you gone, boy, they tell everything. They tell everything. It's crazy to me. We're going to listen to quite a few things today. So we're going to have our opening discussion on Matt Eberflus fired. We're going to listen to Mark Schlereth over on 105.3 The Fan talk about the firing. We're going to listen to Mark Schlereth talk about the candidates. We'll listen to John Machota. John Machota has a few things to say about this. We're going to listen to Mickey Spagnola. He has a few things to say about this. Then we'll look at some of the prime candidates. And I'm going to tell you, a coach, keep your eye on, because I think he may be the very coach the Cowboys pick. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to tell you who I think they may pick. And then I've been perusing X all day, just kind of looking at various things on there. And so we're going to look at what's on X and some of the things that people are saying about the Dallas Cowboys And boy, there is a lot on there. So that's what it's going to be today. Eberflus fired. Schlereth on the firing. Candidates, John Machota, Mickey Spagnola, prime candidates. What's on next? Everybody's piling on Matt Eberflus. Let's go. Yup. It's a great day to be a Cowboys fan once again. Man, let's keep this thing going. Let's get this quick roll call. Let's see who's up in here in the congregation today. Timothy Daniels, what's going on? Yeah, we gonna have a good show tonight as always. It's a new day in Dallas. Mike, 7275, what's going on? Every year is the same. We change coaches and coordinator. It's players for me. They don't play with heart or fight. Hey, we about to talk about that, Mike 7275. I appreciate that. Mose Logan, what's going on? Hey, nah, John Harbaugh ain't coming to nobody to be no defense coordinator. Nah, that ain't happening. I mean, that's wishful thinking. No, John Harbaugh's gonna be a head coach. Paul Lander. Yeah, now we can pick the coach, get free agents, and draft to get the 2026 season going. Not to mention, I forgot to put this on here, but the Cowboys had 9 signings today. The Cowboys have wasted no time signing some of the practice squad players, undrafted free agents, the UDFA players. Cowboys got it going. KH, fired. Yes, sir. What up, Jason Lewis? 903 in the crib, in the congregation. What up, Lou? Yeah, cornerback, safeties, linebackers. And I say also an edge rusher, but that might be Max Crosby. We'll see what happens. Yes, sir, KH. Bless up to the Most High. Let's go. Yes, sir. Hey, Mike T, 7275 from the NYC. Yes, sir. Mary Cole. What did Quentin Williams say? I got it for you. Don't you worry. Paul Lander. All talking heads are saying that the players are on the issue, not Eberflus. Yeah. We're going to talk about that, Paul Lander. Lynn, what up? He said, I don't know why people are bringing up Parsons. The reason why Flus is gone, in which it was more than that. Man, it had nothing to do with Parsons. Parsons, man, I told people already the defense was bad with Parsons last year. Not buying it. Ron Hanna, what's going on? Let's get this thing going. Easy E, Ruthless, what's going on? He said, we want easy. What's going on? The 70s fan show. The Joneses couldn't wait any longer. Congratulations, Matt Eberflus. Yeah, they couldn't wait no longer. Brandon said, bye, Flus. Take Murray with you. Lock and D. Inglewood Trojan. Bump. TY5X. Tapping in from the 903. My stomping ground. Teddy Drake, what up? My sister from the beginning, Queen. What a crazy day of events. That's why the NFL is the best league, because it's got not only the best gameplay, but it's got the drama. Sub-Zero, what up? Ruffin 8385, Ty Howard, Devin Mills, Chris Dunaway. What's going on? Good to see y'all. Steven Gibson, what's going on? He said Cowboys Nation. Jakira Gasson, what up with you? My sister Nisi from the beginning. She said, I'm so happy he's gone. Just don't bring Joe Witt back. Let's go. All right, 70 Bo, RT Holman, my brother, what up? What up, Mose Logan, Terry Tatum, Superman Nat, you already know what it means. Mike McCain, what's up? Chris DeVault, Mills, 0040. What's going on? Good to see you up in here today. It is the Real Estate Vet. What's going on, Real Estate Vet? Let's get this thing going. Raymond Martin, what's going on? Teddy Drake again. Lonnie Cabal, what's going on? Shaheem Green, appreciate you. Hey, appreciate the support. Good to see you. I'm awake, said I'm awake. What up? JG for real. He said I'm for real. TME greatness, what up? Tatiana, what's going on with you? It is that sax guy, this thing. What's going on? Good to see you. We about to get this thing started. Paul Lil, God bless you too. What's going on? John Jones, you already know. It's a New Jack City John Jones. Bullcorn runs a marathon. And I'm telling you right now, that's one of the reasons why Matt Eberflus is out of here. David Everett, what's going on? Jamal Ism, what's going on? GKH17 in this thing. My man Jerome, Jeremy Betts, what's going on, Jeremy Betts? Michael Tyree, what's going on? Dolores Ennis, good evening, what's going on with you? Let's get this thing. JTX May, Mr. Get Dirty from Memphis up in this thing. What up? 72 Chevelle just pulled up in the congregation. Gwen Bowden, what's going on? Good to see everybody today. Lucky Fullwood, Esther Johnson, James Bowie. Let's go. Frank Lawrence. Everybody's in this thing today. Keek 71. He said he back up in here today. What's going on? Ruffin. What about the Kansas City Chiefs, DC? We're going to talk about it in just a moment. Devin Mills, Wazzy Burns, everybody. Yeah, what players need to leave? We'll talk about that too. Appreciate y'all rocking with me today. Woo! Man, it's a great day to be a Cowboys fans. Be a Cowboys fan. Jerry Jones once again. I'm so happy that Jerry Jones was not stubborn on this. Jerry realized he made a mistake. Jerry has gone back and corrected that mistake, but I still need to hear more. I need to hear more from the Cowboys. I need to hear that his staff is gone too. I think he brought about 4 or 5 guys with him. That staff needs to be gone. Shotty needs to replace that Matt Eberflus whole staff that was there. They need to be gone too. I also think the Cowboys need to be looking at getting a new special teams coach. There was nothing special about the special teams coach. And as a matter of fact, when the Cowboys first hired him as a special teams coach, I didn't think he was qualified. I mean, he wasn't coming off of being a special teams coach. I know he had some experience, but I don't understand that. Timothy Govin, what's going on? Good to see you. Junior, what up, Junior? Good to see you. Yes, sir. Rico Jones in this thing. Hey, I'm telling you, man, it's been a crazy day as it pertains to the Dallas Cowboys. And so let's kind of get this thing started. I'll give a little bit of an introduction here as we start about Eberflus fired.
Yes! Here we go!
The firing of Matt Eberflus was inevitable. And I'll be honest with you. 2 things can be true. Jerry Jones should not have hired Matt Eberflus. And I've been saying this. They shouldn't have hired him simply because of what transpired in Chicago. You cannot hire Matt Eberflus after an almost mutiny in Chicago. The Chicago Bears team, I mean, he literally had to exit stage left in the locker room after that Thanksgiving debacle. He had to exit stage left out of the locker room because the players, man, the captains on the team, they were livid. 6-game losing streak. Defense really was nowhere near as bad. I mean, it wasn't even a bad defense in Chicago, but they were losing. And so I think the thing with Eberflus, player disconnection. I really do. Player disconnection, man. I just think there's a player disconnection going on with Eberflus, and Eberflus needs to solve it. Now, let's get some balance as it applies to Matt Eberflus. And I know everybody wants to throw up the numbers on Matt Eberflus, and yeah, the numbers are bad on Matt Eberflus. There is no doubt about it. The numbers are bad, and you're going to hear people rant about that as we listen to Mark Schlereth, John Machota, and Mickey Spagnola. You're going to hear people rant and rave about Matt Eberflus's stats. But I'm telling us, Matt Eberflus is not the only issue and was not the only issue. He was not the only issue. We still need to admit there has to be something wrong with some of our players too. Because I'm telling us these players, some of the same players who had issues with Matt Eberflus are the same players who took issue with Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer didn't know. Man, Mike Zimmer was doing everything he could do. And this is where Mike Zimmer beat out Matt Eberflus. I'm going to tell y'all what I think, too, about Matt Eberflus. Y'all tell me what y'all think about this, what I'm about to tell you. You're going to hear it here first. I guarantee you're not going to hear this anywhere else. But let me tell you what I believe also about Matt Eberflus and why Matt Eberflus was probably up in here clowning. KTH, I did have a Cowboys shirt on, but I did something on my other channel and I forgot to change shirts. Forgive me, my brother. Yeah. I still got some Cowboy stuff I hadn't worn, and don't y'all worry. I'm about to go back and make sure the people who won the giveaway last week, I'll be notifying you here pretty soon, and you'll be getting your stuff in the mail soon enough. But we got to admit that these players, Matt Eberflus was dealt a bad hand with the players. These same players, some of these same players gave Mike Zimmer problems too. Mike Zimmer just said, I'm not going out like Willie Lump Lump. He said, I'm not going out like Willie Lump Lump. He said, I'm going to do all I can to win with this team, even though it's not the personnel isn't that good. And I'm telling us right now, Trayvon Diggs was one of the culprits even in the Zimmer. I'm telling you, I could go back and show you the videos. He was one of the culprits in that scheme. Even Michael Parsons. Let me just give y'all some balance on Matt Eberflus. So I want you to think back to last year. Mike Zimmer is the DC. They asked Michael Parsons about, have you talked to, Zimmer and yada, 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 and, about his system and scheme, whatever. And Michael Parsons is saying stuff like, no, Zimmer's going to have to adjust to me. So I want you to keep this in your mind. Trayvon Diggs this year comes out and speaks out against Matt Eberflus. Now, I'm going to tell you what I told you before about this team. They knew that there were issues with Matt Eberflus. But I'm going to tell you what these players did not want happening. They did not want players like Trayvon Diggs out here trying to dog Matt Eberflus in a court of public opinion. And that's why you notice where these other players who've been here, they just close their lips because this is what they've been used to doing. Did y'all notice? Jadeveon Clowney spoke out, and then even Quinnen Williams spoke out in his last press conference. Yeah, they both spoke out. Quinnen Williams, he knows there's problems with Matt Eberflus. But I also think that Quinnen Williams was recognizing the lack of effort by players, in particular, Trayvon Diggs. Because if you don't think when he says, man, we've been playing football for a long time, cover 3 is cover 3, cover 2 is cover 2, man is man. Who do you think he's talking about? Who do you think he's talking about? Because the only person I know that was flapping their gums out there in the court of public opinion every time they put a microphone in his face was none other than Trayvon Diggs. Did y'all notice? Jadeveon Clowney comes out. He didn't speak out not just once, he spoke out twice. He was talking about how actually when White Cotton took over on the sideline, how he missed Matt Eberflus being on the sideline because of his energy. And even Quinnen Williams was talking about the players need to take ownership of performing out there on the field. Let me bring it full circle. So if you got players who don't like the system and they start speaking out against the system and they begin to be, a lot of people can't do well at something that they don't like. How do you do well at something that you don't like? Some people can't do it. They won't give it maximum effort. And I do believe that Clowney and Williams coming in from the outside, which I think is they had a broader perspective of this team than the players who've been here for a while. They were noticing, man, some of these guys not giving effort. Y'all remember what Kenny Clark said? We need dogs. Guess what? Those players were not dogs. And the Cowboys need to get rid of some of these players. They're not dogs. Let me tell you now, it's going to be the same thing all over again. If Jerry brings in a new defensive coordinator, keeps Donovan Wilson, keeps Malik Hooker, I mean, those two in particular, because they are still a part of that Dan Quinn regime. If he keeps those two at safety. Now, at the cornerback position, we got Deron Bland. But Deron Bland has shown that he's pretty flexible. He'll play outside. He'll play inside. You know, Deron Bland will do pretty much whatever you want him to do. Savon Revel Jr., this will be great for him. It's going to be brand new. I don't think you're not going to have a problem with Savon Revel Jr. talking about Dan Quinn after 3 seasons of being gone. You're not going to have to worry about that stuff with him. I don't think you're going to have to worry about it with Demarion Overshown. So the Cowboys just need to get rid of all of that old way of thinking with some of these players. They need to get rid of it because I'm telling you, these players, there is something wrong with these players on this defense too, because they were having the same issues with Mike Zimmer last year. I'm just telling you. Matt Eberflus, I can admit he got dealt a bad hand as it applied to the players. But the whole Michael Parsons discussion, I don't really think the Michael Parsons discussion is an excuse. Michael Parsons didn't practice any in OTAs or training camp. I'm not buying the whole Michael Parsons thing. You know, people say, trading Michael Parsons at the beginning of the season, that's one of the things that hurt. No, I don't think it did. Let me tell you how I know now that Matt Eberflus was actually in on Michael Parsons getting traded. So Bobby Belt is reporting that the whole moniker of we can manufacture pressure came from Matt Eberflus. That Matt Eberflus is the one who's telling the Cowboys when they decide to get rid of Michael Parsons, we can manufacture pressure. And so this becomes a talking point and one of the reasons why, in the eyes of the Joneses, he had to go. The Joneses probably would have gave him another year. But if you tell the Joneses you can manufacture pressure and then you're reluctant to blitz, and then we have to let Brian Schottenheimer go into the defensive room to make you start doing some blitzes and running 5-man fronts and doing some different things. But even when he would do the different things, the thing that I could not appreciate about Eberflus, he would always find reasons to try to go back to what he does. Matt Eberflus was so prideful that he just couldn't accept nor grasp that he didn't have the players. Now, let me go back to something I said earlier that you're going to hear first that you're not going to hear anywhere else. And I'm going to tell you why Matt Eberflus, I believe, was coaching the way he was coaching in the beginning. Jerry Jones hired him. Jerry Jones hired him. If the boss hires you, you think about you ever worked at a job and the boss brings on one of his friends or his buddies? And you already know that when he brings in his friend or his buddy, he's going to be fast-tracked to the front of the class. He's going to be fast-tracked as one of the best employees. And he's going to be able to get away with some things that other people would not be able to get away with. And I really believe when I think about, and I think back to Matt Eberflus, I believe Matt Eberflus was coaching the way he was coaching because Matt Eberflus in his mind is thinking, well, Jerry hired me. Jerry already know we don't have the players. I've already told him. Jerry traded Michael Parsons. So in the grand scheme of things, I can do pretty much whatever I want to because Brian didn't hire me. Jerry Jones hired me. So I know I'm not going to get fired. I guarantee you he had some of that comfortability. And the reason why I know he had some of that comfortability, it is unheard of to run zone in a game. 97%? What? It is unheard of to go without blitzing in games. It is unheard of when you don't have the personnel. And it seemed like to me, because Matt Eberflus thought he had some comfortability built in, Matt Eberflus just said, man, I'm going to throw this thing on cruise control. Guys, run zone. Y'all are not talented enough to do what I need you to do. You don't have the IQ that you need to run my system. So I'm just going to run zone because I think that's the only thing y'all can run. And by the way, I was hired by Jerry Jones, and there is nothing nobody can do about it. You ever seen somebody do this? I'm telling you, this happens a lot with people. When they get brought in on the quote-unquote buddy system, man, you better run because that person is going to act a fool, man. They feel like they're not on the same level as you. They're not on the same level as you. They got fast-tracked. Man, this dude bring in Matt Eberflus making $500,000 less, at least if all reports are true. Matt Eberflus comes in making $500,000 less than Brian Schottenheimer. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Not only do you bring in Matt Eberflus, you bring in 4 or 5 of his staff members. Man, this dude think he's got the majority already. He probably thinks he's got pull and cachet on the team. Come on, man. Man, let me tell you something. Jerry set that boy up, and I don't think he did it on purpose, but Jerry set that boy up to either be ultimately successful or to be the failure and the fall guy. So now he's the fall guy. That's also the dirty underbelly of the boss bringing you in sometimes. Because if you don't perform, your firing is worse and more embarrassing than someone who is a regular employee. Seen it happen. Seen it happen. Because when you get fired, everybody go about time. Because you were the one who was bringing us down. I'm telling us, I believe that Matt Eberflus, because Jerry Jones hired him, thought he had a certain level of untouchability. Matt Eberflus thought he was going to get the opportunity to just get through this season. And then Jerry, because everybody knows the mindset that Jerry is in right now. Right now, Jerry wants to win so bad. Matt Eberflus knew that Jerry was going to come back in 2026 and be active he was going to be active in free agency. I'm telling you, Jerry's going to be very aggressive in free agency again. He's going to be aggressive in the trade market. They have 2 first-round draft picks. They're going to have a great draft. Matt Eberflus, I guarantee you, thought he was going to be able to hang around long enough to be able to endure and get some great players coming in 2026, and then he was going to be better. In other words, he thought he was going to be able to get that do-over by rolling a gutter ball this season. He rolled a gutter ball this season. He come back next season and they win. He's a hero. But there's some things that are coming out on Matt Eberflus again. And I think we all kind of already knew this part too. For as much as people keep blaming Jerry Jones for personnel, Jerry Jones is actually allowing Brian Schottenheimer, he's allowed Matt Eberflus, he's allowed the influence of some of the coaches to bring players in. And this is something else, because see, now the floodgates are opening on Matt Eberflus, and I'm sure you're going to hear some others talk about this. But Matt Eberflus, not only did Jerry bring him in, but for continuity, as Jerry says, Jerry brings in 4 or 5 of his hires. Not only does he bring in 4 or 5 of his hires, he brings in Jack Sanborn. That was Matt Eberflus, and we had already talked about that, though. We knew that was Matt Eberflus. He brings in Jack Sanborn. I believe it was his idea to bring in Kenneth Murray Jr. I'm telling you, because I know that there is no way Kenneth Murray Jr. was not balling out so hard that everybody in the league was looking at Kenneth Murray Jr. talking about him, and Jerry said, hey, how about that Kenneth Murray Jr. dude? No, Matt Eberflus bought Kenneth Murray Jr. to him. I also believe Kyer Elam. Kyer Elam was the idea of Matt Eberflus. He was the idea of Matt Eberflus. And the crazy thing is, before Matt Eberflus got here, Matt Eberflus is known as the linebacker whisperer. So we're thinking with Kenneth Murray Jr., we're thinking with Kenneth Murray Jr., we're thinking with Jack Sanborn. And say what you want about Jack Sanborn, but I'm going to tell you something. There is something wrong overall, because I'm telling you now, that dude balled in Chicago. As slow as he is, he balled in Chicago. But I do think that's a testimony also to the fact that he had better players around him. But Jack Sanborn balled in Chicago. The Chicago beat writers, the Chicago content creators, they were furious that the Chicago Bears didn't put a tender on him. He gets brought to Dallas, and now he's got a bad reputation. But Jerry Jones, I'm telling you, he brought Matt in. He brought in some of his staff, brought in some of his players. I'm telling y'all now, Matt Eberflus thought he was untouchable. I believe Matt Eberflus thought he was untouchable. He was brought in by Jerry, brought in his staff, brought in his players. Matt Eberflus thought he was untouchable. He thought that he didn't have to put forth a huge effort because, well, Jerry understands I don't have the players. I don't have all the players that I need yet. And I'm going to tell you, Matt Eberflus, very high on the safeties that we have. Man, that should have told us everything we needed to know. I remember when I first heard Matt Eberflus say, yeah, I really like the safeties we have. I thought then, I said, this dude on baking soda, man. Man, I thought then he was on baking soda. Man, come on. We've been complaining about these safeties. Man, I don't want to hear nothing about these safeties or in-the-box safeties. Well, then you're a linebacker then. You can't play for me. I don't need bona fide linebackers playing safety. If you can't play in coverage and you can play in the box, you're basically an undersized linebacker. That's what you are. And you thrive at playing close to the line. I don't need you. I don't need you, because once teams figure out that you can't play in pass coverage, then they're not going to even worry about running the ball. They're just going to throw the ball over your head every chance they get. I'm telling you now, Matt Eberflus was full of himself. I'm telling you, he was full of himself. This is what happened when you get brought in by the boss. But see, I have a different mentality. If someone hooks me up and brings me into a job, I have a different mentality. I try to outwork everybody, because I don't want everyone saying that I got brought in by the boss and so I'm getting special treatment. My work isn't up to par, and the only reason why I'm still on the team, or the only reason I'm still employed, is because the boss brought me in. I don't want to walk around the job like I got special privileges and throw paper on the floor and don't pick it up. Leave my food in the lunchroom without throwing it in the trash. Be in the office talking to the boss while everybody else working. Have doing my job because it ain't the way I want it, but when it gets the way I want it, then I'll excel. No. Jerry set this man up to fail, and he had an attitude to fail. Matt Eberflus, in my estimation, tried to put this job on cruise control until Jerry got him the players in 2026. But the outcry against Matt Eberflus, let me tell you this, something else I heard. Brian Schottenheimer was out in the court of public opinion defending Matt Eberflus, but behind closed doors, he was destroying Matt Eberflus. Yeah. Destroying him behind closed doors. And I said it before, I understood it. He couldn't go out there and just be telling the world, yeah, the reason why we're losing is because of Matt Eberflus. No, he was trying to encourage him. He was trying to encourage him. But he was also telling him, man, you stink. You stink. You absolutely stink. He was telling him. You need to do better. You need to improve. He was telling him. Because this is the indictment on Matt Eberflus. He was so arrogant and so stubborn. Oh, I don't have the players. I got a few players I brought with me, but the other players around them aren't really good enough. So I'm just going to cruise control this thing until next season, and we'll win some games, and it'll be all good, and it'll be kumbaya next season. Didn't happen. Didn't happen. Two things can be true. Do we have high IQ players? I think some of our players I think some of the players have low IQ. I do. And that's why you got to get rid of these guys, because if you don't, it's going to be the same thing with the next DC. Don't make the next DC have to bend over backwards and turn cartwheels to turn this defense around. No. Get rid of some of these players. Clean house for the most part, especially on the back end of your defense. Clean house. Get you a real Mike linebacker, somebody who is as dynamic as Demarion Overshown. The Cowboys got too much depth and not enough meat. They don't have enough meat. Get you the right linebacker. Go out there and get you another top flight cornerback. Go out there and get you not one. Go out there and get you two doggone safeties. Man, I'm tired of this whole Malik Hooker, Donovan Wilson nonsense. I'm tired of this conversation. I'm not making no more excuses for Donovan Wilson and Malik Hooker. They're not good. And if they're good, they're not great. And I don't need good. I need great. Man, them dudes couldn't cover a bed if you gave them a sheet. Can't do it. Can't do it. I don't want to hear nothing about, oh, they're good up against the line of scrimmage. Man, they too small to be linebackers. Get them out of here. Let them go somewhere else where they play that style of football. The Cowboys have neglected safety for years in this league. They haven't had great safety since, I believe, Darren Woodson. They've had a couple of guys who were okay. But when you think about guys like James Washington, when you think about guys like Darren Woodson, man, the Cowboys got to get back to the basics on this thing, man. And don't bring another DC in here telling him, yeah, and you got to deal with what we have. Man, get rid of these dudes. Get rid of them. That back end needs to be all cleaned out. All of them need to be cleaned out. All right, let's read. I'm going to read some of your comments, man. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. But I'm telling you, Eberflus deserved to be fired, because I'm telling you, the dude was walking around here with some arrogance. Because the boss brought him in. The boss brought in all his boys. The boss brought in his players. Man, you got to really be careful with Jerry Jones, because this is one of the issues that Mike McCarthy was having with Jerry Jones. Mike McCarthy was terrified of Dan Quinn. Mike McCarthy thought any day that Dan Quinn was going to become the coach of the Dallas Cowboys. He was terrified. And I think Dan Quinn thought it was a chance. And when Dan Quinn realized there was not going to be a chance, Dan Quinn wasn't going to hang around another season. He bolted. And he was not going to try to even make Mike McCarthy look good another year because Dan Quinn knew that if he made him look good another year, then it was him still not being able to get the head coach job in Dallas. He bolted. Wasn't going to do it. So, Matt Eberflus, I'm telling you, man, y'all got to realize this dude really, he's homegrown in Dallas. Continuity. Got a relationship with Jerry. Man, you never know what this dude thought. But I'm telling you, in the grand scheme of things, I thought he was walking around with a certain amount of arrogance and didn't think that he had to try. But I give Brian Schottenheimer credit because Brian Schottenheimer, no matter what we think, man, this dude Brian Schottenheimer as a coach, not as a play caller, but as a coach, now Brian was trying to get it done, man. Brian was trying to get it done. And Brian wasn't taking mediocrity. Brian wasn't taking mediocrity, man. And I think even Jerry Jones started getting frustrated when he started seeing all the points they were giving up. And then he got even more frustrated as they started losing some of the games that Jerry is kind of sitting back going, we lost that game? And I'm telling you, those 2 home losses to the Minnesota Vikings and the Arizona Cardinals, I think Jerry had already put it in his mind. Nisi said that that secondary made the entire defense look bad, especially with very little effort in tackling. Yep. For sure. Yeah, Mr. 72 Chevelle, he said Bears paying Flus 2026 season. Man, let me tell you something. Flus ain't worried about nothing, bro. He got money. Flus got money. This is why I say, man, Flus need to take a year off, bro. You already got the money. Who knows what the Cowboys contract is? But nevertheless, he's still going to get paid that Bears money. I know that he is. Man, go back, recalibrate, bro. Because you got to disconnect. He's got to disconnect with players. Moose said, G, you're so right about what you just said, sir. That's why he's not with us anymore. Bye, Eberflus. Yes, sir. Ron Hanna, exactly. He was more concerned with exposing players than scheming around what you have. That was the thing that I had against him. It seemed like he set his defense up to expose his players. Like he was so comfortable that he could basically go, I told you we didn't have the players. Man, people got tired of it. Bunfields. Let me see. I'm trying to get this. Bunfields Dunay experienced. Fire Shotty 2 and hire John Harbaugh. Not going to happen. But I'll tell you this, boy. Hey, man. Timing is everything. Because I got a strange feeling if John Harbaugh would have been available last year. Whew. But you know what? I say that, but you know what? I don't think Jerry would have hired John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh is too far out of Jerry Jones's pay scale. Because John Harbaugh is going to at least, he's going to get $10+ million a season no matter where he coaches. Shaheem Green, I said it, his staff needs to go. Keith Washington, I'm going to come back to this comment you're making right here when we get down to our candidates. Ty Howard said, G, do you think Jerry hired Eberflus just in case Shotty failed badly at head coach and Eberflus could take over, but it didn't go as planned? Ty Howard, I'm just going to be honest with you. I wouldn't put it past Jerry. I wouldn't put it past Jerry. I think Jerry really liked Matt Eberflus. But thankfully, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to give Brian Schottenheimer credit. Brian Schottenheimer didn't out-coach Matt Eberflus as much on the field. Brian Schottenheimer out-coached Matt Eberflus as a head coach. Brian Schottenheimer out-coached him as a head coach because Brian Schottenheimer, I got to give him credit, so hands-on with the team. And this is one of the main reasons why I say Jerry doesn't need him to be the play caller anymore. Let him be the field general. I think he does a much better job when he can be hands-on with the entire team rather than hands-on during the week, but I'm still calling plays. So on game day, I can't focus on the entire game as much as I want to because I'm too focused on the play calling. I think they need to get him a play caller and let him be the field general out there. I think the team will do a lot better. Freddie said, why would Jerry fire Shotty when he had a way better rookie season, win-loss record than even Jimmy Johnson himself? Freddie Morales, I'm going to tell you right now, this argument you're making right here, it's done. It's over. Jerry is not going to, The honeymoon season is over for Brian Schottenheimer, in case y'all don't know it. I'm telling you right now, the honeymoon season is over. Jerry's not going to give Brian Schottenheimer no pass next year. Jerry is going to expect results no matter who he brings in. He's going to expect results. Book it. You watch what I tell you. Jerry is about to put Brian Schottenheimer on the hottest of hot seats. Jerry ain't playing, man. If there's ever been a time in history that Jerry ain't playing, it's this one. Jerry's not playing. Jerry's paying Dak Prescott $60 million a year. Jerry wants to cash in that ticket. Jerry ain't playing. He's about to put Brian Schottenheimer on the hottest of hot seats. And I can tell you, Freddie, you're comparing him to Jimmy Johnson. I can't even put him in the same sentence as Jimmy Johnson. But what I am comparing him to is I'm looking at the play calling to Ben Johnson. And man, I'm just saying, I know comparison is the robber of joy. But the one place that Brian Schottenheimer has been lackluster for me, it's the play calling. He's got to improve on that this coming season. He's got to improve on that. Army Mom, you know what? I'm going to give this to you. Yep. Army Mom, let me tell you something. I don't think he even acknowledges it. I think he was burnt out with the Chicago Bears. Let me tell y'all something. Being the head coach takes a lot out of you. Especially when you're the head coach of a historical franchise, the Chicago Bears. I mean, they haven't done a lot, but the expectations are high. It's a historical team. It's a lot of pressure, man, when you're in those kind of cities. It's a lot of pressure. But Army Mom, I agree with you. He's burned out, and he needs to acknowledge it. He's burned out. Hey, Bonfields, I'm telling you, Jerry not going to fire him. But I tell you this, he's about to be on the hottest of hot seats. Jerry's expecting results. Jerry ain't going to allow this conversation of, well, it's only Schottenheimer's second season. Jerry ain't putting up with that mess. Y'all don't think that Jerry is not looking at Seattle? Y'all don't think Jerry not looking at the Bears? Y'all don't think that Jerry is not looking at some of these teams that's got brand new coaches, young coaches, no experience, and they're doing better than the Cowboys? Man, y'all better stop playing with Jerry Jones. Y'all better stop playing with Jerry Jones. Jerry in a different mindset right now. Jerry is in that mindset of, I need to win now. Not later, I need to win now. Y'all watch what I tell you. Y'all remember that hot seat that Nisi explained yesterday? Shoot, you watch what I tell you. Nisi said that thing looked like a hot seat. That thing about to be hot. It's about to be fire in that joint. Nisi, every single time, you always put your best foot forward and work with what you have to make your product great. Because I'm going to tell you, Nisi, this is how I feel. If somebody bring me in, I want to prove them to be right. When somebody bring me in, I want somebody to come back and tell the person who brought me in, man, you know what? I was kind of skeptical at first. But that guy or that lady you brought in, shoot, they are one of the best workers we have. That's what I want them to say. Derek Mendez, he said, OG, I think Raheem Morris should be our guy. Okay, we're going to talk about these candidates in a moment. Because I'm telling y'all, there is a candidate out there. I think there's a candidate out there that fits exactly what Jerry Jones wants. And when I tell you who that coach is, you might agree. I was surprised when I saw him out there and I started reading his background. Hey, Moose, you can tell how he was acting, G. You're right. Man, Moose, man, the boss bring you in, how you acting? Some people can't do it, Moose. Boss bring me in, I got to prove the boss right. Man, boss bring some other folk in, man. Y'all done see people. Man, y'all done seen the boss bring folk in. Man, they come up in there acting like they running things. Boss bring somebody in, you in line for a promotion, man, you just went to the back of the line. Cause boss man, boy, I'm just telling you. Brian Schottenheimer, Matt Eberflus was walking around here like his boo-boo didn't stink. Shoo. Well, I'm going to tell you this, but you got to win too. Shoo, you got to win. You got to win. You do. Niecy said, facts, G. Hook and Dono must go. Bass, what up? He said, I agree. Yeah. Yeah. Bass finally took defensive tackle seriously. Yeah. And I think the Cowboys are about to take left tackle serious. I mean, y'all called me crazy when I told y'all that the Cowboys need to move Ty Smith to left tackle. I'm telling you right now, the Cowboys are already in that conversation. They're already in that mode. Jamal Ism, appreciate that $9.99 super chat. Jamal Ism, I am 100% with you. Jamal Ism said, when it comes to creativity, Shotty let me down. And waiting too long to make Ty Smith left tackle. And Blue is fireable to me. G, I admit I was wrong about Nate Thomas. Jamal Ism, we love our guys, and we want to think that they're going to be this, that, and the other. Yeah, I think Nate Thomas had a lot of people fooled. But y'all remember what my logic was? Bro, you telling me a 6th or a 7th round draft pick, your 1st round left tackle can go out the game, and a 6th or 7th rounder can come in and do just as good as him? Either the entire NFL scouted him wrong or he overachieved. I didn't believe it. They needed more people. I said it. They need more people for me. Because let me tell you, when I saw that dude for Arizona pick Nate Thomas up with one arm and move him out the way, I said, man, ain't no way. Ain't no way, man. And people went la-la land about Nate Thomas, bruh. They went la-la land. Star Guardian X said, Jerry moving different, fastest coach firing. Star Guardian X, how long have I been saying it, my brother? I've been telling people Jerry moving different. I'm going to tell you now, Jerry would have fired him during the season. But I'm going to tell you why I'm glad Jerry didn't fire Matt Eberflus during the season. Y'all might not remember this, but I had mentioned this. I didn't want White Cotton being the defense coordinator. I didn't even want him as the interim. I didn't want him as the interim. You mess around and let White Cotton be the interim, he'll be the defense coordinator. Didn't want it. It would have stopped the Cowboys from doing an appropriate search. No, I didn't want no interim. I was so glad that they did not allow White Cotton to be the interim coach for the Dallas Cowboys. It's one of the best things that Jerry did not do. I'm glad he let him ride it out. Let him ride it out. Let him sit in that nasty diaper. And so there is no doubt when Jerry makes the decision that there is no second guessing. So I love what Jerry Jones did. Absolutely love it. Jerry realized he made a mistake. I'm so glad he corrected it. Because I'm telling you, man, you can't bring in everybody. Man, hey, you ever heard somebody tell you, man, don't hire your friends? Shoot. You better know who your friends are. Don't hire your friends. Don't you dare. When you hire somebody, they represent you. You better make sure they're doggone good. Derek Mendez, he said, I think we need to run a 3-4 defense. We could pull it off. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I think Donovan Ezeraku could play in the 3-4 real well. Because he's more of an undersized edge rusher. I think you could do it. Jadeveon Clowney out there too. I think you could do it. James Houston. We're going to see what they're going to do with Sam Williams. But I think the Cowboys could do it if they wanted to. He said Osa Clark and Quentin Williams and speed at linebacker, draft Sonny Styles, trade back the Packers pick and get 2 cornerbacks. Yeah, I was saying the Cowboys might be trading that pick back too. But at the same time, man, I tell you this. If I'm the Cowboys, I do think it's time for the Cowboys to stop doing so much reaching, to stop doing so much gambling and trying to do this, that, and the other. This first round for the Cowboys is so important. This has to be the first draft I can remember since the Herschel Walker trade. Guys, And then we're going to move on to Mark Schlereth. But I'm just telling y'all, when I look at this Dallas Cowboys draft, man, I just don't think we understand the gravitas of this, man. This draft for the Cowboys. Man, let me tell you something. I know I'm having a party. I'm having a party on the first day of the draft. Boy, I don't know about y'all. Man, I'm having a party. Because when you look at this draft and how the Cowboys are placed so perfectly, the Cowboys have the number 12 and number 20 draft. And when you look at the players available, when you look at the players available in the top 20, the Cowboys have the opportunity to get them some generational players. I mean, generational players. Man, you know what? The Cowboys can go two ways on this. They keep their 12, they trade their second one, and maybe they get a second round draft pick and still stay in the first and get back later. But I'm telling you where I am. I'm really leaning toward Cowboys. Go ahead and just pick two players with these two picks and don't even sweat it. Do y'all realize the Cowboys have the opportunity to get the best cornerback in the draft? Not the second one, not the third one, not one coming off of injury and drop to the third or the fourth round. They have an opportunity to bring in a healthy, best cornerback in the league in Mansour Dulane. They have the opportunity at the linebacker position to bring in Orville Reese, bring in a Sonny Styles. The Cowboys have the opportunity of a football lifetime. I'm just really starting to lean towards Dallas. Man, you can't miss. If there's ever been a can't miss draft, the Cowboys can't miss, Cowboys Nation. They can get Ruben Bain up in this thing. They can get Ruben Bain. The Cowboys can get Sonny Styles or Orville Reese. The Cowboys can get, at the cornerback position, Mansour Dulane. I mean, I really wish they could go in here and get Caleb Downs, but I don't think he's going to be on the board. But just imagine if he is on the board when the Cowboys draft. There is nothing stopping the Cowboys from getting those players. There's nothing stopping them. Man, I'm telling you, this is going to be, I believe, a great draft for the Cowboys. And I'm really starting to lean towards Dallas. If you do what you plan on doing, you will not get this opportunity again for another 4 to 5 years. How rare is it to get a number 12 and a number 20 draft pick in the same draft? If I'm the Cowboys, I got to change the way I'm doing things. I have got to go in this draft, and I have got to get the best cornerback in the league, in college football. I have got to go out here and get Mansour Dulane. 6'1", 187 pounds. We'll be looking at him more as we're going to be going back and doing a lot of these player profiles. But if this guy is the best cornerback in the draft, you have to go get him. You have to go get him. You have to go get him. I mean, the Cowboys, even if they wanted to go get them a guard, they could do it. They could do it. They could go get this Vega Loane or Emmanuel Pregnon. I mean, the Cowboys can do pretty much anything they want to do. They can do anything they want to do. And there is no reason in overthinking this. Don't overthink it, Cowboys. Go in this draft and you get the best two players available. Go in free agency. Get you some veteran players. And don't just get you any veteran players, Cowboys. You go in free agency and you put it on your board that we're going to get at least one top tier free agent. If it's not Max Crosby, whoever is available out there, go out there and get that top free agent and don't give up any draft picks to get him. Don't do no trades to give up any more draft picks. Go out there in free agency and get that one big fish and then get you some depth to go around them. But the Cowboys have a great opportunity. They can flip this defense overnight. I truly believe the Cowboys can flip this defense overnight. I think there are going to be some players out there to where the Cowboys are going to be able to flip that defense overnight. Gene Mart's in the congregation. He said no defense coordinator over 40 years old. Wait till you see who I think the Cowboys are going to pick as their defensive coordinator. All right, guys, enough of me. Let's go over here to Mark Schlereth.
Here we go.
I'm kind of a fan of Mark Schlereth. I don't mind hearing Mark Schlereth talk. I don't know if you guys are, but I'm kind of a fan of Mark Schlereth. So let's check out Mark Schlereth. And what we'll do, we'll get the long version of, let's see, Mark Schlereth on the Harbaugh and Eberflus firing. Yeah, let's get him in first. And as a matter of fact, he's actually, let's see. This is going to be both of the segments of Schlereth on the firing and the candidates, because I didn't realize they kind of snipped out the thing of him talking about the candidates. So let's get it going.
And we do have some breaking NFL news, and we're joined now by Odyssey NFL insider Mark Schlereth, host of the Stinkin' Truth podcast. Insider calls brought to you by Nationwide. For your insurance and financial needs, Nationwide is on your side. And a good afternoon, Stink. How the heck are you?
I am doing great. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. How you guys doing?
Man, we're doing great. Cowboys news this morning, but just earlier this hour, John Harbaugh, I guess mutual parting of ways with the Ravens. Are you surprised that after 18 years there's no more John Harbaugh in Baltimore?
I guess I'm not.
I'm going to tell y'all now, Lamar Jackson got John Harbaugh. Lamar Jackson got John Harbaugh. Bottom line. Lamar Jackson got him. Unlike Dak Prescott, man, Lamar Jackson has had some show-nuff defenses on the other side. Lamar Jackson has had some show-nuff defenses. Lamar Jackson has made some pivotal mistakes. I'm not talking about in key moments. I keep going back to the AFC Championship game against the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, just a flat-out crazy throw. I don't even understand the throw. And just basically threw an interception that ended the game. Think about this next part. John Harbaugh firing. I wonder if the kicker makes that kick on Sunday night if John Harbaugh is fired. Because I don't believe he is. John Harbaugh is fired because he has not been able to get over the hump with Lamar Jackson. I'm just being honest with you. And maybe I need to dig in a little bit more. But I've seen nothing that John Harbaugh did when I look at the losses, the colossal losses they've had, that I would say that was John Harbaugh's fault. John Harbaugh is a heck of a coach. Understands situational football. I just don't see situations where he's been the reason why they lost. But this is what franchises do. I understand it. It's a quarterback league. They chose the quarterback over John Harbaugh. And I believe they're going to probably try and go get Lamar Jackson, somebody younger, and see if they can get over the hump. Probably do some things differently on defense. Because for whatever reason, they seem to have imploded as a team this year. Started out 1-5, but they came back kind of finishing strong, 8-8. Came down to one game, and I really think they did all they could do. Unfortunately, they put the game on the foot of the doggone kicker. That's why I say sometimes, man, when you got that time left on the clock, the Baltimore Ravens had about 15 seconds on the clock, and people sometimes they want to play it safe. I'm sorry, I'd have took a couple of shots at the end zone. I'd have pressed the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's a chip shot field goal. I'm going to press the Steelers. I'm not going to go out like I'm not going to go out like all week and just win by one, bro. You got to be careful always putting the game over the foot of a kicker. I mean, as much as I like Brandon Aubrey, man, Brandon Aubrey doesn't miss some this year. Man, I say when you don't have to put it on the foot of the kicker, I don't care if your kicker is Brandon Aubrey. Take a couple of shots, man. You just have to.
Surprised based on how the season went and a lot of reports about, not seeing eye to eye with Lamar and some of that stuff. And who knows how much of that is true, how much of that is fabricated, I don't know. But
where there's smoke, there's fire.
In the NFL, where there's smoke, there's always a little bit of fire.
Yep.
I would imagine that if John wants to coach, he'll have about 5 job offers here in the next hour or two. So it'll be interesting to see exactly kind of how that kind of unfolds, if he wants to take a year away or whatever. But it's sad. John is a buddy, and he's always been really good to me, and he's had great teams and won a Super Bowl, and he's done an unbelievable job there.
If the quarterback and his agent come to you and say it's us or him, do you think the Ravens made the right decision?
No. But I understand it's a player-driven league and all that kind of stuff, so I get all that, but there's a certain way I think that the Ravens have to structure themselves to have success. And I know that Lamar's won multiple MVPs, and he's a dynamic athlete. But at some point, when those athletic skills wane, are you a legitimate drop back, kind of control the game from the pocket quarterback? And I would say that's never been what he has been capable of doing. That's never been what he is. And so I don't know that at this stage of the game that he'll ever become that. And I think that's been one of the big issues come playoff time and why they've lost football games.
Stink, you've talked to us about doing consulting around.
Yep. I said it over on the G Sports Nation. I said I hadn't even heard Mark Schlereth. I said a lot of these same things. Anybody who's been following Lamar Jackson, and I'm going to tell you, I love Lamar Jackson, so I'm not hating on him. I'm just giving you the facts on this guy. Lamar Jackson is a generational talent, but they have not gotten over the hump because of Lamar Jackson. I mean, people be killing Dak Prescott, but boy, people really need to start doing more talking about Lamar Jackson. I'm just telling us, man, for him to be 2-time MVP, 1-time unanimous, and one of those MVPs actually belonged to Dak Prescott, he almost got that one unanimous, which didn't make sense. He has literally been the reason that they have not went to the Super Bowl. 3 for 5. Not to mention, got somewhat of an injury history. You kind of look back at Lamar Jackson and you see where wasn't available for the playoffs. Why not? Wasn't healthy. Bottom line, wasn't healthy. So, man, there is a lot to talk about with John Harbaugh. But, I'm going to go ahead and let the John Harbaugh thing play because I do think John Harbaugh is actually going to play into the Dallas Cowboys too, because if a team takes John Harbaugh, a couple of these coaches who are actually head coach candidates, they may find themselves being left out and they may have to take a defensive coordinator job.
On the league before. So if you're a team and they're like, hey, we let go of our defensive coordinator, who are some names that you would want to go after that could be available right now or maybe aren't even available that you'd still try and pursue?
Yeah, I love Rollis in Arizona, and he was Jonathan Gannon's right-hand man. I love Jonathan Gannon. I think both of those guys are great coaches, so that would be a direction that I certainly would go in. I think that there's a lot of guys that are waiting to get that head coaching job, so we'll see exactly kind of how those things pan out. But there are some good coaches out there, and I love kind of having a dude that has been a head coach that has been in that situation before, although that didn't work out with Eberflus. But like I said, I love the Rollis kid. I love he's a young guy too. He's in his 30s, and then I love Jonathan Gannon. I think he's a really good coordinator. And ultimately he got caught up in an organization that went through. I think they used all 90 of their moves from a roster standpoint because of all the injuries they've had. So kind of impossible to win when you're fielding two whole complete teams and you're playing nothing but backups.
Mixed Matrix, what's
Hey,
going
Steve,
on?
If you did have the opportunity to be a general manager and sit down with one of these coaches, what's the first thing you want to ask them? As far as like if you're a defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, can you be a head coach? What's the one thing that you want to ask them?
Philosophical approach.
Miss Matrix, you asked this question yesterday. What is the criteria? They're asking Mark Schlereth, I guess, what would he be looking for? Let's check him out.
What identity do you want to build? I think, and I'll just go back to Jacksonville, talking to Tony Baselli and talking to James Gladstone, their GM. And the reason that they ended up hiring Liam Cohen wasn't because of the work he did with Baker Mayfield. It was because the first thing he came in there and basically said is, this is my plan to support your quarterback, but here's the plan number one, to become a more physical football team, to be able to run the ball on a consistent basis. And now here's how we're going to support the quarterback. And they went out and they got an offensive coordinator that was in the Minnesota system that was in that system that Liam Cohen's going to run. They went out and got Nick Mullins, who was in that system. They could impart all that wisdom and all that knowledge to the quarterback and Trevor Lawrence. Then they went out and got Robert Hainsey, the starting center from Tampa Bay, who had lost his job last year, but they got him to come into Jacksonville to be the starting center so they could take all the protection stuff off the plate of Trevor Lawrence and say, hey, man, here's what we're going to do. We're going to run the ball to support you. We're going to have somebody in that meeting room that speaks the language, that really knows this offense inside and out, so he can present it to you from a player's perspective, which often is a little bit different than the way the coaches present things, right? There's a different language and there's a different level of, I don't even want to call it trust, but kind of understanding in the way a player speaks. And then ultimately we're going to take this, a lot of the load off of you, so you can just focus on footwork and the things that you need to improve upon by letting the center actually call the protections and do that stuff for you to take that off your plate. So I just think that was, like, to me, that was huge in the success of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Do you have a round one upset special for the playoffs?
Round one upset special.
No.
Gosh, I think that I don't know. I haven't really thought about upset special. So let's go through them. So we've got Buffalo at Jacksonville, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Jacksonville's the best team in the AFC right now. They're playing better than anybody else, so I'm not going to go in that direction. We've got the Chargers at New England. No, I think the Houston Texans.
They must be paid. Man, Mark Schlereth is on that. Boy, man, Rick James said, man, baking soda is a heck of a drug, bro. Come on, man. Jacksonville Jaguars, the best team in the AFC. Stop it. If they're the best team in the AFC, why are they not the number one seed? Now, they could be better than the Patriots. I'm struggling with them being better than the Denver Broncos.
I don't think it's an upset, though. I think the Houston Texans are going to go into Pittsburgh and win. That defense is just too damn good. I think San Francisco, as beat up and as injured as they are and as bad as they look Saturday night against the Seahawks, I think the 49ers could go into Philadelphia and win. What game am I missing? What wild card weekend game am I missing?
Steelers, Texans?
He said Houston was.
That.
Yeah, he said
Houston.
Sorry, I was looking at other breaking news.
Yeah.
Stink.
Yeah, it's all good. But that's probably the direction I would go.
Who's your MVP?
Anybody but a quarterback. But I know it's going to go to a quarterback.
Yeah.
So I got to pick between two quarterbacks. I'm going to go probably Matthew Stafford.
See, I was wondering, Steve.
And part of that is a lifetime achievement award, by the way.
Sure.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, because if they were probably being honest, Drake May would probably be the MVP. Because, man, I'm telling y'all, people they hate on Dak Prescott so much. But, man, when the Cowboys got Joe Milton, people were acting like the Cowboys had actually got Drake May. and they were poo-pooing on Drake May. Man, let's not act like Drake May got a juggernaut team over there. Man, that dude is balling out of his mind. And if Joe Milton was better than Drake May, I'll be honest with you, I think it would already be showing. I think we would have seen it. I mean, we already know he can throw the ball across the continent. But when you look at what Drake May has done with what he's doing, I mean, what he's doing it with, man, I'm telling y'all now, Joe Milton is as good as if he's even as good as Drake May, boy, the whole NFL is dumb. I'm not buying it. You heard what Mark Schlereth said, Lifetime Achievement Award. But I mean, if people were really being honest with themselves, Dak Prescott would get it, but you can't win the MVP. Dak Prescott probably should have got the MVP this season, but you can't get the MVP with a losing record. It's just not going to happen. You at least would have had to have a, I say you at least would have to have a 9-7-1 record and at least make the playoffs. And it would have been a Herculean feat to make the playoffs with that defense. But I think that's the reason why Dak Prescott would have won the MVP had they went to the playoffs. Because, man, historically bad defense, and you go to the playoffs with that, Dak Prescott would have won the MVP. So, but if people were probably being honest with themselves, it would probably be Drake May. But this league is weird, man. They don't like giving guys stuff too early and things of that nature. They'll probably use everything against Drake May. They'll probably go from how easy the schedule is and everything else. And I will not be surprised if they give it to, I wouldn't be surprised to give it to Matthew Stafford.
Thinking about you the other day, actually, Stink, when the Rose Bowl, when they gave the MVP to the offensive lineman. I thought that was like the coolest thing in the world. Like the kid standing up there, and his teammates were so damn happy for him. You know, I mean, that offensive line played great for Indiana, but it's nice that the guy, he's like, hey, I don't know the history of the Rose Bowl, but it's nice to be the.
Oh, I see that there are some Lamar Jackson defenders. I don't have no problem with that, but I'll tell you this: I see DX Flash. What's going on? What you? Good to see you. So tell me about the AFC Championship game against the Kansas City Chiefs. Don't get me wrong. Lamar Jackson has had his share of bad luck. I mean, the kicker thing was bad luck for Lamar Jackson. He played a really good game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's not his fault that the kicker didn't make the kick. But at the same time, he's been injured a couple of times, maybe 3. He's been the reason why they've lost some of those games. Some of those games you could argue that the players let him down. But I don't see anywhere where John Harbaugh let him down. Nowhere. Nowhere do I see where John Harbaugh let him down. Man, John Harbaugh, if there's anything he's guilty of, he's actually catered. He's actually catered to Lamar Jackson. And that's why I say, man, you hook your caboose to those quarterbacks. If they fail, you're the failure. Because there is no reason. John Harbaugh is not the reason. Dominique Pittman, you finally got it. Okay, cool. Yes, sir. Yeah, I got a whole bunch more about to go out too, man. Got a whole lot more about to go out too. I was telling my wife today about to send out about 10 more orders here over the next couple of days. But I appreciate y'all. I don't mind giving back to the best chat on YouTube.
MVP, yeah.
But I tell you this, hey DX, I tell you this, the proof is about to be in the pudding now. The proof is about to be in the pudding now. You don't have John Harbaugh no more. You don't have John Harbaugh no more. So we're gonna see what he look like outside of John Harbaugh. So you said it. DX Flash 5. I hope you stay with me. So we're going to look back on this over the next couple of years if God allows me to be here that long. Look, hey, allows both of us to be here that long. Hey, DX Flash 5, we're going to revisit this after next season and the season after next. Because if you telling me that John Harbaugh is washed then you're also telling me you're about to go get a better coach than John Harbaugh. So I expect to see some results. Absolutely.
He'll go down in history for sure. They were great the other day.
Yeah, no question about it. I always say, hey, man, the quarterbacks get all the, they get the money, they get the, endorsement opportunities, the girl, they get everything. So why do we have to give them the MVPs too? Let's give it to real football players. Those guys don't play football; they play quarterbacks. So let's not do that. But that's the way we can't take our eyes off the ball. That's the problem.
Spread the wealth, man. How do you feel when another man tells you, "I was thinking about you the other day"?
I feel good about that.
This is what I kind of brought up, Chanel. They'll probably bring up the competition.
I thought, oh, geez, why'd I say that?
Yeah, hey, listen, you're only human.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the first time. It won't be the last time that another man is thinking about me.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Appreciate you as always, Mark. Enjoy Wild Card Weekend. We'll catch up with you next week.
Sounds good. Take care.
There he goes. Mark Schlereth, brought to you by Nationwide for your insurance and financial needs. Nationwide.
Okay, I didn't hear a lot of Matt Eberflus conversation in there. Okay, let's go over here to John Machota. I am sure John Machota is going to give us an earful. I really believe John Machota is about to give us a lot of insight on some of the things that were going on inside of the building. Excuse me, some of the things that were going on inside of the building. And again, man, I'm telling you, it's amazing to me that when you're on the team, people don't let this stuff out. And then all of a sudden, boy, when you off the team, boy, man, you ever got fired from your job, man, and or somebody get fired from the job, and boy, people start telling all kinds of stuff they wasn't telling before they was gone. I'm like, well, why wouldn't you say anything while they were here?
The fan, thanks for making us part of your day. An eventful day here on your home of the Cowboys as defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus relieved of his duties by the Cowboys this morning. And we continue the conversation around that now with John Machota of The Athletic here.
I can tell you now, John Machota, but I think the one who's going to probably be really fired up is Mickey Spagnola. But let's check out John Machota.
You're on the fan, and a good afternoon, sir. How the heck are you?
I'm doing well, boys. Thanks for having me on.
It's great to have you, as always, Johnny. Now, let's start with how the time.
And so, my bosses are asking me, going into this final week, when do you think that they'll announce or make any moves with the coaching staff? And I figured it wouldn't be until like Thursday or Friday, just because I thought they would go through all their exit meetings and that. But I go back to Jerry mentioning last week about wanting to make some moves, and I believe he used the word pronto. And so I'm thinking that this is because they have some candidates in mind and they don't want to wait too long on them. And so, when I seen this news happen this morning, it really just made me think of when they moved on from Mike Nolan. It's just clearly a bad situation. And this next hire, you can't really leave much room for a possible disaster. It's got to be a home run hit.
Yeah, no doubt. And when's your feeling now on when that move would come?
This is the reason why I believe, and I believe y'all believe the same thing. This is why it is imperative. Jerry Jones allows Brian Schottenheimer to bring in his own DC. It's imperative. Because I'm telling y'all right now, I already know the mindset that Jerry is in. And if y'all are not paying attention to what Jerry's been doing since he hired Brian Schottenheimer, I'm telling y'all right now, Jerry is in win now mode. Brian Schottenheimer absolutely needs to have full input into the next defensive coordinator, because Jerry Jones is about to put Brian Schottenheimer on the hottest of hot seats for these next 2 seasons. That seat is going to be hot. Playoffs minimum. And I believe Jerry's not only going to be expecting playoffs, Jerry's going to be expecting more wins. At least one win in the playoffs. And then if he gets to 2027, Jerry's going to be expecting Super Bowl. He's about to be on the hottest of hot seats. He's about to be on the hottest of hot seats. And for that reason, I believe that it is imperative they let him choose his own defensive coordinator. They got to let him pick his own defensive coordinator, because you cannot put Shotty on the hook, or it's harder to put him on the hook if you're the one doing the hiring and we get the same thing over and over again.
Oh, how quickly do you think they could bring somebody else in?
I mean, Cowboys-wise, I wouldn't then think until next week or so. I mean, I still think that they'll probably bring people in for interviews before they make a final decision on that. But yeah, maybe as soon as next week, and you get your staff in place.
Andy Jones, I'm gonna save that for after the Mickey Spagnola thing, because I'm gonna tell you, I got a strange feeling. The guy who I'm going to show you, I think this is the guy the Cowboys are going to get. I think he fits what they. I think he fits what they want. I really do, and I'm gonna. And some of y'all already know who it is. Some of y'all already know who it is. Y'all go ahead and start taking some wild guess on who y'all think the coach. Tell me who you want, but also tell me who you think the Cowboys are going to get. Because I'm going to tell you who I think the Cowboys are going to get.
And then you can start focusing on the Senior Bowl and some things where, I think a lot of us believe that they'll use both those first-round picks on defense. So I think you want to have that defensive coordinator in place sooner rather than later.
So I know you've put out an article already on The Athletic. We've gone ahead and shared that. But what are some of the names that you're hearing that they could be interested in? And could they possibly pivot off of having to have a defensive coordinator with head coaching experience?
They could. I don't know that I would love that idea, though. And one of the reasons I say it is just if you swing and miss again, now all of a sudden it's, okay, if you're Brian Schottenheimer, how much longer does he have? Is he going to get a third defensive coordinator hire,
I'm telling you. I'm telling you. It don't take a rocket scientist to understand this. Nah, bro. We're not going to give you 1, 2, and 3 defensive coordinators blaming the defensive coordinators. I'm telling y'all right now where Jerry's mind is because Jerry's mind was already here. I've given you enough weapons, Brian Schottenheimer, that even if your defense is somewhere around 25 to 21, he didn't expect it to be 31, 32. But if your defense is anywhere around 25 to 20, you have enough offensive power to get us to the playoffs because I've already given you the players on offense. Jerry ain't playing. Jerry isn't playing. Jerry isn't going to bring in another defensive coordinator, and then everybody gets to cry about that defensive coordinator, and then Jerry just say, it's my fault again, I'm going to get a defensive coordinator. Nope, he's going to look at the common denominator. Hold on a second. How did we look against the better defenses? I'm telling you, man, boy, y'all about to watch Terminator Jerry. Jerry ain't playing.
I mean, it really reminds me a lot of when Mike McCarthy came on, and hey, Mike Nolan didn't work out, pivoted to Dan Quinn, turned it around, no nonsense, obvious candidate, previous head coaching experience, guy that, led the Falcons to a Super Bowl appearance. And he obviously came into Dallas and he fixed the defense pretty well and became one of the best defenses they've had in the last 15, 20 years. And so I think that's why, for me, by all means, bring in all the other candidates that might not have had head coaching experience. That's fine. Bring them in, interview them. Maybe somebody blows you away. But for me personally right now, in that article I wrote, I focus on 4 names because those 4 names make the most sense to me, and they all do have previous head coaching experience, but they've also coached defenses that have gone on to at least appear in Super Bowls, and I think that's what you have to have here. You have to have somebody that Brian Schottenheimer doesn't have to worry about, hey, I know we're trying to get this offensive game plan together. I got to go in that other room and make sure the defense knows what they're doing over there. You can't have that stuff anymore.
John, how much do you think Schotty is spearheading this whole thing?
A lot, and I think that probably factors in them making this decision today to kind of get ahead of it. He knows how important this hire is because I don't think he wants to spend any more time over in those defensive meeting rooms. I don't think he wants to spend any more time talking with his defensive coordinator about, maybe it'll be better if you leave the sideline and then go up in the coaching booth. Like, these are things that he doesn't need on his plate. He's already got to worry about the offense. He already has to worry about calls about players not being able to play because they had a mishap hanging a TV at their house. He doesn't need any more on his plate.
Hey, when you look at this, though, John, okay, Matt Eberflus, I'm saying, is going to come out at one point in time. He's probably going to whisper some things What do you think he's going to say went wrong? I'm asking you to be reckless and do all that. But what do you think he's going to say was the biggest problem here?
Oh, Brian, well, I can't wait to hear that. Because if line one is not, I needed to do some things differently, then I really don't care what comes after that. Of course, you would say, hey, didn't really help me out trading Micah Parsons the week before the season started. I get all of that. That's fine. And that did set him up very poorly. And that's why, to be honest with you, I didn't really judge him. I wasn't that critical of him that first half of the season. And I don't think Jerry was either. But I think I'm in the same boat as Jerry on after they traded for Quinnen Williams, and they looked like they were rolling for those 3 games. And then all of a sudden you had that game against Detroit. And ever since then, it looked back to what it was at the beginning of the season. I can't go forward with that. And I'm sure that's where Jerry was coming from, and Steven, and obviously Brian Schottenheimer as well. I think it was all pretty lockstep on this. There wasn't a lot of meeting of the minds that needed to happen. I think they knew this was happening weeks ago. But with that being said, no, I'd be fascinated to hear what he thinks it is, because in our last time talking to him last week, he said he wouldn't do anything different. And that blew my mind, because my takeaways of watching this team all year and being in the building, I just don't know a lot of players that were really going to bat for him, that really thought that it was some great scheme and it was putting them in the best position to make plays. And if you don't want to, and you don't care what the players have to say, that's fine. Don't listen to players. Watch the games on Sunday. Watch them all 22. Tell me who played well. Just give me a couple guys on defense where you're like, no, you can build around that. That'll be good. Well, it was such a disaster that I'm fascinated to hear of any finger pointing, other than, like I said, the Micah Parsons trade right before the season started. Sure, I'll point to that. But I will also be quick to tell people this when they bring up the Micah Parsons thing. You haven't been following what was going on here the last 3 years. If you think Micah Parsons on this team everything would have been great on defense and everything would have been fine. Because the Micah Parsons I remember doing podcasts after bad games, that Micah Parsons after that Vikings game, he might not have taken a shot at Matt Eberflus or say anything about J.J. McCarthy, but you know what he would have done? He would have heaped so much praise on what Brian Flores did and talk about how, man, I'd love to have a defense like that. And indirectly, if you read between the lines, he would tell you exactly what was going on there. So I pumped the brakes on anybody thinking that, like, well, if Micah was here, this wouldn't have happened.
Not to mention, let's not give him too much credit either, because I'm just telling y'all right now, with Matt Eberflus's defense, I don't know why no one else is seeing and saying this. People are delusional. If you think in Matt Eberflus's scheme that Michael Parsons would have made this defense look better, I'm telling you up front, it would have been worse. It would have been worse. Michael Parsons is an undersized edge rusher. Teams would have ran at him. They would have double teamed him. They would have ran between the tackles where he is not. The Cowboys would have ran roughshod. They'd have ran roughshod over the Cowboys. There would have been nothing there other than Oso Digizua. There's no Kenny. There's no Quinnen. Solomon Thomas. Man, let me tell y'all something. Solomon Thomas and Oso Digizua would be wore out by now. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. People are delusional. It'd have been worse. And Michael Parsons would have been a sounding board, because after every one of those losses, he would have been talking about how bad either they are, or he would have been implying how bad they are, and he would have been talking up other teams. I'm just telling you. Man, I don't know why people keep bringing up this Michael Parsons discussion. It doesn't hold water for me.
I'm just kind of curious, though, if, when you look at if he, in fact, he seems like he's just very defiant till the very end. Like he's like, I'm not gonna cower down or anything like that. I mean, it seems like that the more that he heard, the more defiant he became as a coach.
And I agree with that, Brian. And you know what I think that is? I think of that is almost how I feel about Bill Belichick.
Jerry, let me tell you, Matt Eberflus was definitely defiant as a coach. Logan Wilson not playing, that was all Matt Eberflus. Y'all got to think about how embarrassed Brian Schottenheimer has to be. They're asking him about they're asking him about Logan Wilson. And Brian Schottenheimer can only say that wasn't on purpose. It was a personnel mix-up. Bro, this is not a high school team. This is not a college team. This is a professional football team. If you want Logan Wilson to play or Logan Wilson plays, man, I hope the next DC they bring in here, man, stop all this player rotation nonsense. It's one of the dumbest things the Cowboys did this year. One of the dumbest things the Cowboys did. Stop all this stupid stuff. The guys who are the starters, let them be the starters. If they need a breather, give them a breather. But you got to stop coddling these players, man. Man, let these guys go out here and go to work just like other teams do, man. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Where Bill Belichick is now and where he wasn't in his latter years with the Patriots does not take away from me that he was not a legendary, maybe greatest coach of all time. The times passed him by.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean he forgot about football and he doesn't know football. And I certainly feel the same way about Matt Eberflus. I've seen too much good from Matt Eberflus in previous seasons in Dallas, in Indianapolis, even some of those defenses in Chicago. But I wonder if he's had a tough time adapting to how players have changed. And is your teaching getting across to a different type of...
Did I not say this? Matt Eberflus needs to sit down and evaluate himself. I don't think it's the message. I think it's the messenger. That's what he needs to be evaluating. What went wrong with him? I don't think it's even something that went wrong with his scheme as much as something went wrong with him. He really needs to evaluate that. Something went wrong with him. And they're not, they are just not responding to him. He needs to take a week. He needs to take a year or two off. And I do think he's burnt out. I agree with Army Mommy. And I don't think he realizes it, but I think he's burnt out.
Player, a new generation of player. And just watching the games, I didn't feel like it did. Like I said, I don't know anyone that really looked like they were completely locked in and on the same page at any point from the beginning of the season to the end. And so the only thing I can go off is that maybe that's what it is. It's like, it's no way did he forget how to coach football, but maybe he got a little too defiant with today's player who's like, yeah, man, if you're not adapting and putting me in a great position to like make plays on Sundays, I'm kind of going to start tuning you out.
I said this too. Checked out on him. And if I don't like a system, can I really play it good? I'm just telling you right now. If it's me, I actually don't want players like this. I really don't. I don't want players like this. In particular, those players that have been here for so long that they've gotten settled into the ways of how things have always been. Man, roll them players out of here. They'll never let you move on. People who are used to a certain way of doing things, they will never let you move on if you allow them to not let you move on. They'll always be in the mode of how we've always done things. This is how we've always done it. Oh, don't worry about it. I done this before. They ain't gonna say nothing about it. Oh, this is how you supposed to do it. This is how I do it. Man, get them people out the door, bro. People out the door. This is the very thing that Jadeveon Clowney and Quinn Williams are talking about.
It is the G-Bag Nation here with John Machota as reports coming in. John Harbaugh is out as Ravens head coach.
Crazy.
I got this confirmed on Twitter.
Mutual
That's
parting of ways.
Yeah.
definitely a bombshell and a conversation we can pick up a little bit later on, but wanted to pass that breaking news on to everybody. Okay, I think you alluded to this a few minutes ago, John, but how many people were kind of quietly grumbling about Eberflus, whether it was players, coaches, or staffers, privately?
Yeah, I don't know an exact number, but what I keep going back to is there were times under Dan Quinn, there was times under Rod Marinelli, where, and even a little bit with Zimmer, where there's players that would stick up for the coach and talk highly of the coach, or, when things are going poorly, talk about how, we got the right guys here, I never heard that this entire year. There was never anyone that I really felt like was really going to bat for Matt Eberflus. And honestly, you go back to the beginning of the season with Jerry and Steven, when they would be asked about how things are going poorly on defense, they would keep pushing back to how, well, we know Matt, he's been in this building before and all that stuff. But as the season went on, you heard less and less than that, even from Jerry and Steven. And that's where I started to really pick up on, I don't think he's going to be coming back, because they weren't even defending what was going on. And so players publicly behind the scenes, I really didn't hear a lot of them bashing him. I also didn't hear them really advocating for him. And the thing I keep going back to is the actions speak louder than words. And the action that stands out and will stand out most to me from this season on defense is the fact of Brian Schottenheimer openly talking about how much extra time he was spending in the defensive meeting rooms, and how much Jerry Jones talked about how much extra time Brian Schottenheimer was spending in the defensive meeting rooms.
See, let me tell y'all something. This is where Brian Schottenheimer outsmarted Matt Eberflus. This is where Brian Schottenheimer outsmarted Matt Eberflus. As Matt Eberflus began to fail, and really like he was failing with no concern for failing, the sense of urgency that Shotty had as it applied to getting in that defensive room, getting in there trying to help them and do those things, Schottenheimer outsmarted him. Whatever cachet he had with Jerry, Brian was able to get more and win Jerry over even more by literally outworking Brian Schottenheimer, not just offensively, not just as the head coach, but even when it came to defense. Brian Schottenheimer proved he was willing to roll up his sleeves and get in that defensive room. And I don't think Matt wanted him in there. But Shotty got in that room. And that in itself showed Jerry, Shotty's made of the right stuff. But Matt, something ain't going right about this. And I'm telling you, I said this early on. I said, Quentin Williams, man, Quentin Williams is Matt Eberflus proof. Shoot, man, after 3 games, after that doggone Marshawn Nealon stuff wore off, man, this dude reverted right back to who he was before. DX Flash, he said, I feel like we could have kept Parsons and gotten Williams. Not possible. Not possible. Jerry wouldn't even thought about it. Because you don't keep Parsons, sign Smith, and get Williams, and sign Pickens. This was one of the reasons why Jerry let him go. No, he couldn't do it. Yeah, Ron Hanna, you're right. Terrible, terrible. Man, worst ain't the word. Terrible as terrible is. Yes, sir. Chanel, you know what? I do kind of agree with you on this. I don't think Jerry's going to allow Shotty to choose, but I do think he needs to let him have input. And I do think that Jerry needs to make sure that whoever they choose, that Brian Schottenheimer is bought in on that doggone coach. That Shotty is bought in on that coach. Shotty gets to interviewing, and Shotty is bought in on that coach. Don't just give him somebody, because if you just give him somebody, I mean, you can put him on the hook, but I think it's harder to put him on the hook. But I do think Steve Campanella mentioned something earlier, and I think one of the things that Jerry did do this year, people not giving him credit for, Jerry actually did step back, and Jerry let both of these coaches prove what they were. And this is why I say Shotty outsmarted Matt Eberflus. Matt Eberflus did not put the time into the coaching the way Brian did. But I also think that took away from some of the things that Brian could probably do better if you took the play calling away from him and get you a dynamic play caller. I really think they need a dynamic play caller.
that's fine for Mike McCarthy. He had been around for a long time. He probably can handle that a little bit better. Not to say Brian hasn't been around a long time, but this is his first year as a head coach. You do not need your first-year head coach doing that type of stuff. Not with a veteran defensive mind who also was a head coach.
When Steven was on the show Friday, he also brought up special teams. Do you think that they're done making changes along the staff?
I'm not 100% certain of that. I think if they felt as badly about the special teams as the defense, I think maybe that announcement would have been made already today. I think that they'll probably look through that and discuss that a little bit more as the week goes on. So I can't say definitively that there aren't more staff changes to happen on special teams, but Steven's comments, I was listening when he said that, but also just from our perspective of watching the Cowboys, a return group that has Kevontae Turpin, it has to have more explosive plays than it did this season. And I think the Cowboys are well aware of that. So there could be a change there. I just don't, it's nowhere near the level of what this Eberflus decision was in terms of it being an obvious, oh, well, no doubt they're going to do that.
What'd you think of Steven's unsolicited, we'll go all in with us on Friday?
I thought that was interesting. I do think he was talking more about on the defense, and I kind of put that together with some stuff I've heard Jerry say over the last couple of weeks, and even before the game, a group of us talked to Jerry, and the way that the owner's box is in New York, it's kind of right in the same area as the press box. You kind of have to walk through the press box to get to the owner's suite, and so we talked to Jerry for about 5-6 minutes, and the way he was talking there was like, it wasn't just going to be, we're changing out from Eberflus. It was going to be looking at the whole deal, the whole philosophy of it. And that's why I keep going back to, it just won't be, let's say, hiring a Brian Flores. It'll be doing that, but then also probably spending both those first-round picks on the defense, and then also doing something more veteran-wise, which at the very least will have to be upgrading the linebackers and probably the edge rusher position.
What's more likely, they're actually aggressive in free agency, or they use some of that draft capital and go trade for Max Crosby?
Oh, that's a good one. The Crosby thing I think is interesting just because of the way it seems like things have been going at the end of this season for him in Las Vegas. I think that could potentially open things up. But I ultimately think that, especially with Tom Brady there, that they look at it as, well, what are we going to have if we get rid of him? I think that they're going to look, if they do move him, for like just a boatload of picks. And I don't know if this Cowboys defense is in a spot where they should do that. I wouldn't be opposed to it. But when you ask me my opinion of it, I think they might be more aggressive in free agency than to pull the trigger on a move that would cost them several picks.
You're the man, John. Love talking Cowboys football with you. Enjoy these playoffs, and we'll try to catch up with you soon.
Yeah, I agree with that. I could see the Cowboys going that route of not trying to give up a lot of draft capital. So the Max Crosby thing is going to be very interesting. I think it's going to be very tantalizing for Jerry Jones, and I think Jerry may have a hard time resisting that if this man, if Crosby is in reach, Jerry, I believe, is going to have a hard time not getting Crosby. I really do, but we'll see how that turns out. All right, let's listen to Mickey Spagnola. Then I'm going to tell you who I think the Cowboys are more than likely going to get, because for some reason, to me, it seems like he fits what the Cowboys may be actually looking for. All right, let's check out Mickey Spagnola. Someone mentioned earlier that Mickey has been defending Matt Eberflus, so I'm very interested to hear it. Tomorrow is really going to be the big press conference, though. I think the Cowboys are coming on, the coaches and everything are coming on at 11:30. So I'm actually going to go live at that time. So I'm going to go live early so we can listen to that just at the same time. All right, let's see here. Mickey. All right, let's hear Mickey Spagnola. No, he gonna have a lot to say.
Commanders movings and the shakings.
Yeah, Joe Witt was Quinn's guy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, he was.
Whoops.
There was people thinking he should have been the coordinator here.
Oh no, who are those people? Jerry?
Well, I remember it. Maybe not inside the building,
Okay,
but
gotcha.
outside the building.
Yeah. I'm interested. Like he does have a pretty good connection with the Cowboys. That would not be a person of interest now, though, right?
No, I don't think so, since Quinn took over the defensive coordinator job of calling plays during the season.
Yeah.
That writing was on the wall.
Were you pretty stunned this morning when you saw that Eberflus was let go?
A little bit, just because of how Jerry had been answering those questions. And then no, because I actually saw him walking up the steps towards the next floor higher yesterday. I figured that wasn't a good indication.
HR.
So, yeah, when I look at it, so if I go back to Rod Marinelli in 2019, so this is now how many coordinators in 7 years? 4?
Yeah.
Yep.
And only one guy for 1 year really fixed the defense, and that was Quinn's last year.
Right.
So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So at some point, are you making bad choices as defensive coordinator, or do you need to improve the personnel on defense?
Yes. I'll say that one for sure.
Both.
Yeah. Me too.
Both.
I mean, if I'm interviewing for the defensive coordinator's job now, right? I don't think money would be what I'm worried about.
You're just worried about the talent aspect?
I want in my contract, you will re-sign Jadeveon Clowney. You will get me a Pro Bowl caliber cornerback. I want a real middle linebacker, and I need another pass rushing defensive end. That's all. And then I'll sign on the dotted line.
Yeah.
But don't give me, and I just figured it out, some of the guys that were either prominent players on this defense or guys that started but not finished the season for one reason or another, meaning you weren't good, you got released, you ended up on IR, you got traded because you didn't play well. They missed a total of 89 games.
Gross.
So I know what everybody says about Flus. I get it. But he didn't have a lot to work with.
Yeah.
And if you missed that many games of guys you were counting on from the start of the season, and I didn't even add in the week before the season started, 17 games of Parsons, right?
Yeah.
So that gets us over 100. So I'll let you know what I think about the move when you tell me who gets hired.
And is this just a situation where nothing's going to change with the people who are picking some of those players? So isn't that at least part of the reason we keep going through this cycle? Because you're like, I don't know, change this guy then.
Well,
this guy on the left is very negative towards the Dallas Cowboys and has he has a vitriol hatred for Jerry Jones. But in the grand scheme of things, while I don't believe Matt Eberflus had the players to be a top 5 defense, I do think he had good enough players to not be a number 32 defense. The numbers that Matt Eberflus posted are ridiculous. They're absolutely ridiculous, man. And I'm telling you, it was almost like because I've been brought in by the boss, I'm not even trying. That dude wasn't even trying, man. He would only try every so often when they would say something's got to change. He did that, and then Brian went into the room. Marshawn Nealon thing happened. And then, of course, there was a quiet storm of Quentin Williams and Logan Wilson. And he did some things different. But other than that, man, this dude wasn't even trying. I'm not even listening to this dude talk about the players are a part of the problem, but no, Matt was a big part of the problem too, because he wanted to expose that he didn't have the right players and try to make those players look bad. Shame on you, bro. Get out of here.
Did you pick the wrong
Shame
guy
on
with
you.
Trayvon Diggs?
I mean, I don't.
He was pretty good for 2 years.
Nobody in the grand scheme of things can blame the Cowboys for extending Diggs. Diggs, not only, we do need to realize something, that before Diggs got that injury, Diggs was pretty doggone good. And had the Cowboys let Diggs hit the free agent market, I'm telling you, Diggs would have got more money. You really can't fault the Cowboys for extending Diggs. Diggs was a top 5, top 10 cornerback at the time. I mean, Diggs was balling. What betrayed Diggs was the injuries. I mean, we probably could have dealt with his attitude had he not got injured and played better. But his attitude on top of the injuries, man, he had to go. But Diggs before the injuries? Nah, Diggs was good. Yeah, Diggs was good before the injuries. So you can't blame the Cowboys for Diggs. But, we can blame blame him for players like Michael Gallup, thinking about him on the offensive side of the ball. You can blame them for, I still say the Cowboys probably should have let Deron Bland play out another year. We can blame them for Kenneth Murray Jr. I'm still wondering about Jack Sanborn. Jack Sanborn might have played better in a little bit different system. Maybe, we can blame him for the safeties and all of that. But even inside of all of that, Matt wanted Kenneth Murray Jr. Matt brought in Kyrie Elam. Matt brought in Sanborn. I mean, Matt needs to own some of this. And if I was Matt, I wouldn't even come out and start whispering anything. If I was Matt, man, I'd go away, take me a sabbatical, bro. I wouldn't even be talking to nobody. DX Flash, you think Bland was a good extension? I think they should have let Bland play it out. I think they should have let Bland play it out because the Cowboys signed Bland knowing he was already having foot issues. And this is the typical Dallas Cowboys move, DX Flash 5. I really think they should have let Bland play it out and then decide where they were at the end of the season on Bland. But unfortunately, whether it's good or bad, it doesn't even matter anymore now because we got him.
Right. For sure. I guess what I've started to become concerned with, and we've talked about this, it's hard to figure out like who really loves the game and will do whatever it takes to win versus who loves the money, who loves the spotlight. And I guess I've become concerned with some of the contract extensions that have been given out without fully understanding who loves football and who doesn't.
Well, I didn't see anybody disagree with Diggs, right?
Right.
He was pretty good for 3 years.
I agree with that. I didn't have an issue with the Diggs extension.
All right, but a lot of these guys here that I'm looking at that missed were not extended. Bland was extended. He got hurt, all right? You can't figure that out. He kind of loves football.
Yeah. Maybe he was he good enough to get that deal? Was Osa good enough to get that deal?
Yes, he was. Until he had the foot in.
Can't really complain about Oso Digizua either. Oso Digizua gave the Cowboys a team-friendly deal. I mean, he really did. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, Oso Digizua is not a very expensive player. So, Oso Digizua is just one of those players. I would really say in another world, Oso Digizua is more of that blue-collar type of player than he is that elite player, you're paying that big money to. But nevertheless, I mean, I don't think Osa's contract isn't that big. So in the grand scheme of things, I don't think Osa was really a bad signing. Problem is he hasn't produced as much as you would have wanted him to. But he's been good when he's been beside Quinnen Williams.
Injury, right? And now he needs another surgery, put a bigger screw in the fifth metatarsal.
Oh, man.
They didn't spend a lot to get Elam, right?
Right.
That was supposed to be a depth guy because they were hoping Diggs was going to be ready to start. They were probably hoping Revel would have been ready sooner. And this is not being cold-hearted, but Nealon ended up missing 10 games.
Yeah.
Wrong guy? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, that one's tough.
Now, you can make a case for Mozzie Smith, but they didn't extend him, right?
Right.
DeMarvion Overshone, wrong guy. Couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah.
Kalen Carson was pretty.
I'm pulling for DeMarvion Overshone. This is the first season DeMarvion Overshone is going to go into the offseason healthy. This is his first season going into the offseason healthy. I'm pulling for DeMarvion Overshone. I think he's going to be okay. I think he's going to be great.
Good his rookie year in training camp, and then when he got hurt, he missed 9 games. So when you add all that stuff up, I don't know what scheme you wanted to play to fix this defense.
Now, what Mickey is missing, we can excuse the players, but what we can't excuse is the lack of utilization of the players that you have and making all of the necessary adjustments and showing this coaching staff, showing this front office, and showing this fan base, I'm doing all I can do. I'm doing all I can do. That's not what he did.
Was historically bad, right? Somebody's got to play. Now, did you sign some of the wrong guys in free agency to kind of fill some depth spots?
Maybe so.
Yeah.
But you just didn't have a true middle linebacker. I don't think Kenneth Murray was a middle linebacker.
Yeah.
But you had him playing middle line.
Flus wanted him. Flus wanted him. You don't get the backtrack. Flus wanted him.
Linebacker, right?
Yeah.
And
also, Mickey Spagnola, could you explain to us why you're defending all the players? Mickey Spagnola, can you explain to us why they brought in Logan Wilson and then continued to play Kenneth Murray Jr. and continue to let him play bad? And even Jerry Jones said, I don't know why he didn't play. We heard at least 2 games where Jerry was expecting Logan Wilson to play and he didn't play. Can you explain that to us, Mickey Spagnola? Can you explain it to us?
So that's another need I need, a real middle linebacker. I see where, Eric Kendricks didn't play all season. San Francisco signed him late because of injuries, and now the guy's got to start in the first playoff game for him because their second middle linebacker is out with an injury. Now, he was pretty good. Pretty good leader and leader on the field of the defense. So, yeah, I just think they were, from a personnel standpoint, pretty shorthanded defensively for all those reasons. Either the wrong guy, injury.
I'm laughing the fact he's not bringing up Kenny Clark, Quinnen Williams, Logan Wilson. He's not bringing up major players. DeMarvion Overshone got healthy. Savon Revel Jr. came back. He's not bringing up that the Cowboys actually had mid-season from the trade deadline on. Mickey, your argument don't hold water because for 3 games against 2 good teams, look great. Look great. Beat the Raiders, beat the Eagles, beat the Chiefs, look great. Had a 10-day break, came back out against the doggone Detroit Lions, and reverted back to doing the same stuff he was doing before then. Mickey Spagnola is disingenuous.
Or a guy didn't want to play in Trayvon Diggs. Did he play Sunday?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I saw that. I think he gave it 1 reception. Maybe he's only targeted twice. I've
already checked out the thing on Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs is is cheating Miss Matrix out of a jersey. Trayvon Diggs only got targeted one time out of 18 snaps. I looked at the 18 snaps that he was on the field, and the only reason why he didn't get his socks burned off is that they didn't try him. Because I saw at least on 4 or 5 different occasions that had they ran that go route, they'd have ran right past Diggs. Again, I'm telling y'all right now, you watch what I tell you. Ben Johnson is going to prove me right. Trayvon Diggs cannot turn and run. And I even saw it watching the Green Bay tape. He cannot turn and run. He tries to anticipate the wide receiver going on the go, so he tries to give that cushion, and he tries to turn early to anticipate. He doesn't have that quick burst anymore. I'm just telling us. We're going to see in this game against the Chicago Bears, because if I'm Ben Johnson, I'm going at him. I'm just telling you straight up. I'm going at him. Straight up. Man, I don't care who, Luther Burden III, anybody. I'm going at Trayvon Diggs all day. And I'm not doing no doggone comeback routes. Wherever he is, I'm going go routes all day long. I'm going verticals. Because I know there's nothing Trayvon Diggs can do.
Man, I don't know if I've got those stats exactly right off the top of my head.
He didn't have an interception, did he?
No.
But he did have his highest rating of the season at an 83 point. I think Trayvon Diggs had something like an 83 PFF focus grade. Again, because he only got targeted one time. 18 snaps. I think he had 2 tackles. So we'll see how it goes. But you got to understand, for whatever reason, the Green Bay's cornerback room is terrible. So because they were singing his praises.
I feel like we would have heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that probably would have been the big story.
Yeah, he didn't tear it up. No, he didn't tear it up.
So, yeah, I just think, I just don't know if Flus had a fighting chance to fix what he was dealing with.
Yes, he did.
And, it's a guy that's been a pretty good defensive coordinator in the league, right?
Is he a scam?
Let's not leave out. He got fired from the last job. Nah, he had his opportunities.
Scapegoat for this then?
No.
Well, we'll see what if things change going forward.
Okay.
And again, if guys have a choice between this and somewhere else, I would imagine that factors into the situation, unless you money whip them.
Right.
So.
Well, isn't that what everybody else is going to do? If anybody else wants these coaches, they're going to have to money whip them. These coaches are not going to look at any of these teams going, okay, which one of these teams has the best chance of going to the Super Bowl? I don't care what they're paying. Stop it, Mickey Spagnuolo. It's just dumb talk.
I don't know if there's a heck of a lot of cheering out there that, Flus takes the fall. But sometimes the way I look at things, you got to be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Because the Cowboys have had pretty good defensive coordinators here, right?
I feel like Zimmer had his time. I would have been fine having him back to build on what he ended the season with, but I know he had other thoughts.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he wanted to.
Yeah, based on what I was hearing. Yeah.
I think he was close to saying, okay, that's it, right?
Yeah.
Quinn, they improved each year from total defensive rankings. They went from 19 to 12 to 5, right? And then what happened in the playoff game? They gave up 48 points to a quarterback who was starting full-time for the first time in his career.
Right.
Yeah, because Dan Quinn's defenses couldn't stop the run. Dan Quinn's defenses were made to play with a lead. They were not made to stop a running football team. Dan Quinn's defenses were designed for our offense to get up on a team 14 to 3, 17 to 7, and then he could pin his ears back and do what he needed to do. But it never was made to really be competitive.
So you're sitting there going, well, and Jordan Love almost had a perfect quarterback rating in that game. He finished at 157.2. He was 1 point away from perfect.
Well, also, if you pay attention to that game, for whatever reason, Dan Quinn switched from the defense he had pretty much ran the whole season, switched to the defense that Matt Eberflus tried to run. Make that make sense. A lot of people say Dan Quinn threw that game. There's a lot of debate about it.
Ugh.
With 6 pass plays of at least 20 yards. So, yeah, the defense played better overall during the season, but when it got to the playoffs, it was the same old thing. Gave up 48 points. So, the best run, or I thought a pretty good run with Marinelli, who took over the worst defense in the league, and he went from 19 to 17 to 14 to 8 to 7 to 9 in his time here with the Cowboys, which was respectable, right?
Sure. I would have killed for that this year.
Well, yeah. You might have killed for Quinn's 19.
Yeah, for sure this season.
Yeah, Mickey's one of these guys, though. I think time has kind of passed Mickey by on some of this stuff. Mickey is one of these guys, you can tell. This is one of the things that I look at the Cowboys with. I understand the Cowboys' past, but there's nothing you can do to fix the past. All I can do is look at the Cowboys' present. And what I see them doing presently, if I look at everything they did, and I'm going to start giving my grades on the Cowboys, I think, on Thursday. When I look at everything the Cowboys have done, overall, I think they did a lot of things right, where in times past they would have did things wrong. And Jerry actually thought he was doing something right, because as much as people were complaining about Matt Eberflus now, a lot of people were not complaining about Matt Eberflus when the Cowboys picked him up. I could narrowly hear anybody complaining about Matt Eberflus when the Cowboys picked him up. At the beginning of the season, I went back and did research on him, and I was concerned. But a lot of people, they were not beating up on Matt Eberflus. So Jerry thought he was doing the right thing. Kyrie Elam was the darling of the OTAs in the training camp. But then when they started implementing the system in the first game of the season, it lost Kyrie Elam too for whatever reason. So in the grand scheme of things, I think the Cowboys are doing things a lot different. And even the way they fired Matt Eberflus. No waiting. The Cowboys have already started the 2026 season. They've already started it. And they're going to, I'm telling you, Cowboys are going to do some damage in free agency again. Free agency, the draft, trade, and the Cowboys are going to do some damage.
And where could this team have gone if they were even close to middle of the road?
Right. So, yeah, it just, when you couldn't fix it, now it'll be interesting, because I'm sure Schottenheimer knows some guys out there. Every place he's been, there'll be guys that he's crossed paths with, and maybe he's got an idea of who he wants.
Yeah.
And I do think he's got a bigger voice in the decision making than I think people might have thought he had when he first got hired.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure he had a hand in, the Parsons thing, the Diggs thing. Because remember, he had been here, 3 years? He had seen those characters behind the scenes. And I'm sure there was a lot he would have liked to say that he didn't have the authority to say at the time.
Well, maybe tomorrow we could talk about some of those potential options and some of the other things that the Cowboys will need to take a look at in the off season. Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
All right, there you go. Mickey Spagnola.
I had already said the thing about, I had already said that the whole little bit they're talking about there at the end is kind of like a no-brainer. But at the end of the day, man, all we can do is just move forward with the Cowboys and see what they do next. All right, so now let's move to what I believe the Cowboys are going to do at the defensive position. I'll tell you what I mean at the defensive coordinator position. I'm going to tell you what I think they're going to do. So, I do believe, and let me read these super chats real quick. Sub-Zero said Jerry's going to shock the world this offseason. I think so too. Byron Joe David said Jerry's going in-house and hire White Cotton, put money on it. Hope not, Byron Joe David. I do not want them to promote White Cotton. Calvin Richards said Harbaugh for DC. Nah, I have a feeling that if John Harbaugh doesn't take a job, he's going to take a year off. I mean, he's been going for a long time, man. I would not be surprised if John Harbaugh says, man, I need to take a year off. All right. So I'm going to tell you who the Cowboys are going to probably go after first. I think in the grand scheme of things, I think they're actually going to go after Brian Flores. I think Brian Flores is who they're going to go after. There are a lot of people that are saying the Cowboys already have ties. They're saying the Cowboys already have ties to Brian Flores. I do believe that is and you got to think about the urgency of the Cowboys. When the Cowboys hired Brian Schottenheimer, one of the mistakes they made, they waited until January 12th to do it. And while they were doing that, other head coaches were being hired. And so they had to go to Brian Schottenheimer. But now that they've already let go of Matt Eberflus, the Cowboys get to start doing whatever they want to do tomorrow. They're not going to have to wait. They are now in the thick of any of the candidates that are available. And let me give you a few candidates. I've already heard some of y'all mentioning them. Jim Schwartz of the Browns. A lot of people are high on Jim Schwartz, former head coach. Defense helped the Eagles become Super Bowl contenders. Gannon's hold on, it jumped up on me. Yeah, Jim Schwartz has a great run defense for the Browns. Since 2023, he's been a top unit in the NFL per EPA. He's built a unit that has no weaknesses, producing outstanding results, both the run and the pass. Says the only reason why Schwartz is expected to be available is because Kevin Stefanski was fired. Brian Flores. I really think this is the one the Cowboys are going to go after. I think they're going to go after Brian Flores. Not sure if they're going to succeed, but I do think Brian Flores is who they're going to go after. Hold on a second. Flores, I believe, is who they're going to go after. So I think Jim Schwartz and Brian Flores will be the first ones on the docket. The Cowboys are going to try to get them. Leslie Frazier that people have listed here. Cowboys not bringing in Leslie Frazier. I don't think Leslie Frazier is what the Cowboys are looking for. I'm going to get this on here in a minute. Frazier, I do not believe he is what the Cowboys are looking for. Jonathan Gannon for the Cardinals, ex-head coach, also used to coach the Philadelphia Eagles, helped the defense become Super Bowl contenders. Raheem Morris from the Atlanta Falcons. I say that's a no-go for the Cowboys. I don't think they're going to do that. I've seen y'all talk about Jim Leonard, Broncos pass game coordinator. Not sure if that's going to work for the Cowboys, but I see him as one of the candidates. And I'm trying to get this up on the screen. I can't get it on the screen. All right. And then Matt Patini. He is actually the outside linebackers coach for the Minnesota Vikings. People say that he could be a good consolation prize. Christian Parker, Eagles pass game coordinator. Those are the candidates that I've been seeing people talk about. Now, I'm going to give you who I believe that fits what I believe the Cowboys may be looking for. And some of y'all not going to agree with this, and I don't have a problem with it. But I'm telling you who I think they're going to. I think this guy is going to be a serious candidate, whether we like it or not, because I think he fits some of the things the Cowboys want to do. Drum roll, please. I don't have a drum roll. But this is who I think they're going to be looking at if they can't get Brian Flores, who I think is going to be their number one candidate. If they can't get Brian Flores, this is who I think they're going to get. I think this is going to be the guy the Cowboys are going to take a serious look at if they can't get Brian Flores or Jim Schwartz. I think this is the guy that they're going to probably look at. Let me tell you something about this guy right here. This is, what's his name? Gannon? Jonathan Gannon. This is Jonathan Gannon. I'm going to tell you something about Jonathan Gannon. It all depends on what you're looking for. But Jonathan Gannon is a little bit nutty. And if anything, I'll tell you this. Gannon could be a jolt for the Cowboys. Gannon is a little bit of a nut. And the reason why I'm telling you that he's a nut, you think about the way that Brian Flores, y'all remember how I told you how Brian Flores kind of denigrated Tua Tagovailoa? Well, this dude right here, I don't know if y'all remember him earlier in the season, but this is the same dude that a player fumbled the ball in a crucial situation. And this dude, Jonathan Gannon, he literally walked by this guy and shoulder checked him. Shoulder checked him. This dude is loony, man. This dude is loony. He got a little fire to him. I don't know, but hey, man, Gannon got a little fire to him. He does. Gannon, young, fiery defensive coordinator. Don't let him fool you. Gannon is a monster. I'm telling you. He was with the Philadelphia Eagles when they went to the Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs. He's a monster. I think he fits in between everything the Cowboys are looking for. Ex-head coach, check. Didn't necessarily have the success as a head coach, but he's young, fiery. When you look at what he did with the Philadelphia Eagles, they were pretty nasty when he was with the Philadelphia Eagles. He kind of got them going. I think he's going to be one to watch for this job. I will not be surprised. I will not be surprised if the Cowboys get him. I will not be surprised. I think he's going to be the guy. I do. Now, Mills, you make a point. You make a good point, but you might not realize how you make a good point. Notice what you said. He was horrible in the Super Bowl. So can you tell me when the last time we had a Super Bowl? Can you tell me the last time we had a Super Bowl defensive coordinator? Can you tell me the last time? You do realize you said Super Bowl, right? Super Bowl. Yeah, Super Bowl. Man, this dude is, I'm telling you, this dude is different. This dude is different, man. I'm just telling you. This dude right here, I think he fits kind of in between where everybody kind of wants a Cowboys coach to be. He's young. He's aggressive. He's smart. He's had some success. I think he'll be a player's coach. But not so much to the point that he'll coddle players. I think Gannon is going to be a guy that they're going to be seriously looking at. Because I think the thing that may be a problem for the Cowboys as it applies to Brian Flores. I told y'all this from the get-go. Man, Brian Flores is going to be a head coach candidate. He'll be a head coach candidate. There's no doubt in my mind he'll be a head coach candidate. Jim Schwartz, I don't think he'll be a head coach candidate. So the Cowboys may be able to get him. But I also think what makes Schwartz and what makes Gannon appealing is the fact that they played in the NFC East. I really think Jonathan Gannon is going to be one of these guys. It says a decision that should be one of the easiest Jerry Jones has made since he bought the Dallas Cowboys looks like it's going to be dragged out. So, of course, the Cowboys already cut Eberflus, so that's not even a discussion no more. It says Gannon and Adams were both on the Indianapolis Colts staff in 2019 and 2020. Gannon served as Indy's cornerbacks coach under the defense coordinator Matt Eberflus, while Adams was the assistant offensive line coach. When Gannon was hired as the Cardinals head coach in 2023, he brought Adams with him to serve as the offensive line coach. Before becoming Arizona's head coach, Glenn served as the Eagles defensive coordinator in 21 and 22. So there should already be familiarity there. The Eagles had top 5 defenses in Gannon's second season when they made it all the way to the Super Bowl. If the Cowboys wanted, they could even call up they're not calling Mike Zimmer. But I'm telling you, I think this guy, Jonathan Gannon, is going to be a serious candidate for the Cowboys. I'm not telling you have to like him. I'm just telling you I think he's going to be a serious candidate. Well, Dale Jordan, you got to understand what you're actually saying. None of these defensive coordinators would be available if their teams didn't suck. They wouldn't be available. So I think Gannon's going to be a strong contender, man. I think he's going to be a strong contender. But I do say the Cowboys are going to go hard for Brian Flores. And I don't know what Mickey Spagnuolo is talking about. Bro, you're going to have to money whip these guys anyway because other people want them. Other people want them. I do think Brian Flores will be their first choice. And if the Cowboys can't get Brian Flores, well, get ready because I think you're going to hear this guy's name. I really do. I think you're going to hear his name. Doomsday, he says, are y'all talking about Jonathan Gannon defensive play goodness? Defensive play goodness, bro. Jalen Hurts is what caused him that Super Bowl with a fumble. Kansas City only won by 3 points, I think. Yeah, Gannon is going to be. I think Gannon's going to be I think he's going to be a candidate. I really do. I'm not telling you he's going to get the job, but I think he's going to be a serious candidate. Chanel said, I don't want Gannon nowhere on the Dallas field. His defensive scheme was obliterated by DeQuavius and Cheesesteak Philly Stadium. But, man, we got to realize something, man. Dak Prescott is good. I mean, we do realize what we're saying, right? Man, Dak Prescott's a great quarterback. Dak Prescott has carved up many defenses in this league. I think he's going to be a candidate. I do. I think he's going to be a candidate. If they can't get Brian Flores, and I do think they're going after Brian Flores. There's no doubt in my mind. There is too much smoke about Brian Flores. Cowboys are going after him. I think they're going after him with everything they have. The problem with Brian Flores, though, I think it's simple. Brian Flores is going to have an opportunity for a head coaching job. And I also think Minnesota's going to throw some money at him. Jim Schwartz. I think Jim Schwartz would be pretty good here too, even though there's some people against Jim Schwartz. Yeah, Army Mom, this is another reason why I think Gannon's going to be a candidate, because Clayton Adams may very well go to bat for him. Chanel, I have been questioning this. You said Brian Flores will not get any head coaching offers. And the reason why, if he don't get any head coaching offers, I think it's going to be because of the lawsuit. That lawsuit is still out there. That could be the only reason I would see him not letting him try to get another opportunity at that head coaching job. But I'll tell you this, if he doesn't get a head coaching job offer, it bodes well for us, because that means that Jerry will probably go and get him. Because I don't think Brian Flores was making I don't think he was making Matt Eberflus money. I really don't. I don't think he was making Matt Eberflus money. Brian Doomsday, he says Brian Flores would make this defense top 7 or 8. I believe it too. I think Brian Flores would be great. But I still say, keep your ears open for Gannon. I think the Cowboys are going to give him a serious look. JS Tube said whoever is the choice has to bring a defense that's not stuck in the Stone Ages. It has to be a defense that works today in 2026, not 1926, or we'll be having the same issue as last year or next year. Yeah, I agree. Mills, I'm telling you, I hate to be the bearer. I don't know if I'm bringing you bad news or good news, but I'm just telling you, I think Gannon's going to be a serious contender. Young, aggressive. I could see it. JG, for real. You talking about Brian Flores? Bro, I got to agree with you. If you talking about Brian Flores to the Ravens, I could see it. I really could. I mean, I could see him with the Ravens if you're talking about Brian Flores. Mills, I think Shotty's already going to be on the hot seat. Derek Williams, he's a candidate for the Raiders job. Are we talking about Gannon or Flores? Nah, you're not gonna get Dion to be no defensive coach. If anything, man, let me tell you something. I would at least in my peripheral vision, man, I'd be keeping an eye out for Deion Sanders in Cleveland. Shoot, y'all, man, because they got some crazy stuff going on over in Cleveland. They talking about that people don't want to coach the Cleveland Browns, and I don't understand the Shedeur Sanders hate. It's crazy to me. Jaden Justin, yeah, we don't need another bend don't break defense. I agree. I don't like those kind. Flores or Schwartz would light these guys' hair on fire. That's what our guys need. Yeah, they would be a jolt. Yeah, they would be a JOLT. Again, I think the Cowboys are going after Brian Flores, so don't get me wrong. I think they're going head first into Brian Flores. Problem is, I don't know if they're going to get him because he's a head coaching candidate. Lloyd, what up? Man, Lloyd, I don't like Rex Ryan, bro. I don't like Rex Ryan, Lloyd. He been sitting at the desk for too long. And I just feel like if he was any good, there is no way he would still be sitting on the desk. Nah, I don't like him for the Cowboys. Rex Ryan does too much talking for me. He's not the kind of he would be every time they put the microphone in his face. Oh, he'd just be talking and talking and talking. Nah, I don't want to see Rex here in Dallas. I think he's more talk than he is bite. Army Mom said Flores would love to play Hurts twice a year. He'd feast. Oh man, you are not lying. Wow, Michael Smooth. Flores made that much money? $5 to $6 million a year? Oh, he ain't coming to Dallas then. He ain't coming to Dallas then. Because if they bring him to Dallas, they going to have to give Shotty a raise. 72 Zavelle said we need a dog trainer. Yes, sir. Yeah, JG, I couldn't have Rex in Dallas. He too messy, man. He talked too much. ESPN would have the inside scoop on everything going on in Dallas. Yeah, Ron Hanna said Gannon is a loose cannon, but the joke you be saying we need G. Hey, I'm telling you. I mean, hey, Gannon is one of them different type of dudes, man. Yeah, he one of them different type of dudes. Yeah, Chanel, I had heard he was probably more. I heard he didn't make as much as Matt Eberflus, so it would be a raise. Larry Golden. If he doesn't get that head coaching job and Jerry wants him, I think Jerry's going to be able to get him. Man, you come in here, this is the place. If you come and turn this around, you write your own ticket. You'll be a head coach if you turn this thing around on the defensive side of the ball. Because with this offense, you turn it around, man, you gonna write your own ticket. All right, let's close this thing out here today. What's on X? I've been kind of pulling up some things over on X. And somebody put up, somebody named Nikki, they put up a defensive comparison to the Dallas Cowboys defense last year. Let's check this out. These are some astounding stats, and they are pretty sad. When you start seeing some of this stuff, man, you really realize how bad we were. Look at this right here. This is how bad the Cowboys were defensively. EPA per play, 32nd. Success rate, 32nd. Drop back EPA, 32nd. Drop back SR, 31st. Rushing EPA, 29th. Rush success rate, 31. Points per game allowed, 32nd. Third down expected, 32nd. Red zone touchdown percentage, 29th. Turnovers forced, 30th. Interceptions, 31st. EPA in one-score games, 32nd. Passing yards per game, 32nd. You can't get no worse than this. You can't get any worse than this. Mike Zimmer had bad players. The defense wasn't good overall. But he had some, he was 18th in EPA, success rate 15th, drop back 6th and 8th, rush EPA, he got 8 up in the run game, 31st, rush success rate 23rd, points per game allowed 31st, so he was about 4 points off. Third down expected, they were able to get teams off the field sometimes, they were 3rd. Red zone touchdown percentage, they were 32nd, got killed in the red zone, but they did force turnovers. They did get interceptions. They were 12th and 12th. Passing yards per game, 17th. And we got to understand, though, some of this is probably attributed to the rush success rate and the rush EPA on the Cowboys. So that probably offset the passing game. Eberflus was bad. I mean, Zimmer was bad, too. But he wasn't this. Man, you can't even defend this. I don't care what players you have. Man, you can't even defend this. This is crazy. So that's some of the things that's going around on Matt Eberflus. And there are all kinds of things out here. Let me just give you some more stuff that I've been looking at on X. Stuff is just starting to just come out of the woodworks. It says here, Patrick No C Walker said, another truth. He undermined his own messaging to the locker room by playing favorites despite those favorites performing poorly. Several players were more than ready to move on at DC, if only for that reason, but not for that reason only. John Owning said, to me, the annoying part of the Eberflus didn't have the talent to succeed is that it absolves him from the player acquisition process. We're acting like he didn't have a big say in bringing in Murray, Sanborn, Elam, etc. He helped make this bed and it backfired on him. Yeah. Dak fan for life. Appreciate that super chat. Brian Flores is making between $3.5 to $4 million. Yeah. I mean, it's coming. Man, stuff's coming out of the woodworks on Matt Eberflus now. Here's another very interesting post. Shortly after Matt Eberflus got canned, Quinnen Williams posted on his Instagram, "Great things are coming. So happy to be a Cowboy." Yeah. Yeah, Quentin, everybody's been saying he must know some things. Look at this laugh. This got to be laughing. Tears of joy. Yeah. Yeah. So, Quentin Williams, he's pretty excited. Bobby Belt reported, says Matt Eberflus had a lot more influence on the personnel than he let on. It says his reference about, we lost the pass rusher. I promise you, the weakened scheme of pass rush line was put into their ears by Matt Eberflus, and he couldn't. Everything's coming out. Appreciate you, Larry Golden. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. He said, thank you, G, for making our night worthwhile. Hey, man, I got to get us through. I got to get us all the way through the next season. I'm going to make it my business to get us all the way through. I'm going to get us all the way through and look forward to this Cowboys team when they open up the new season. I think they're going to hit the ground running. I do. I think they're going to get a big fish. Yeah, I've seen Chosen One, Vance Joseph. He said Vance Joseph sucks as a head coach. Yeah. But, sometimes these guys are better coordinators than they are head coaches. And this is why Gannon, man, why everybody is saying that Gannon may not be good for the Cowboys, man. He may just be what the Cowboys ordered. Yeah, old school. I think firing Matt Eberflus was the right move. He was too stubborn for the Cowboys. He was way too stubborn. Yeah, Doomsday, I'm with you, man. He says, G, the bigger reason I'm excited that Matt Eberflus is fired is because all of his defensive rotation, bull hockey was crazy. Man, I totally agree. I've been saying that. I hated that dumb rotation. Chanel, I agree with you. I think this is the very reason why Flores wants to leave there. Chanel said Minnesota does not have the offensive team to support Flores. He will be out there. If we pay Flores $3.6 million plus the advantage of no state tax is a great calling card. Yeah. I think the Cowboys are going to have a great chance at Flores. And I think he's going to be their number one target. And I think they're going to swing hard. And I'm just telling you now, I'm not going to be surprised if Jerry gets Brian Flores. I think he fits exactly what Brian Schottenheimer wants. I think he fits the attitude, the philosophy. I think he will be another energetic guy that he will absolutely, that Brian Schottenheimer will absolutely love. A couple other little tidbits here. Let me see. Maybe I got the wrong links. Let me tell you something too. Just a little tidbit on Ryan Flanoy, just to let you know how great Ryan Flanoy was this year. Ryan Flanoy, here's how the wideouts from the same draft class finished in the regular season versus Ryan Flanoy. Ryan Flanoy had 475 receiving yards this year, best of his career. Xavier Worthy, 532. Ricky Purcell, 528. Adonai Mitchell, 453. Keon Coleman, 404. Xavier Legette, 363. I want y'all to imagine this. This is Ryan Flanoy not starting half the season. And even when he started, this is him and Kevontae Turpin kind of in some kind of weird rotation. Ryan Flanoy, if they let this dude loose, Ryan Flanoy is going to be a 1,000-yard receiver. Dak Prescott is on the verge in 2026, Lord willing, 1,000-yard receiver in Pickens, 1,000-yard receiver in Lamb, 1,000-yard receiver in Ryan Flanoy. It's going to be incredible. This offense is going to be high-powered. The question is, can we get Brian Schottenheimer to improve his play calling? Also, too, in other news, what's on X? The Cowboys, 9 signings today. 9 signings today. The Cowboys completed their future deal signing, securing some promising talent. The Cowboys, Trayshawn Holden is going to be another one to watch. Trayshawn Holden is a monster of a wide receiver. Cowboys signed Trayshawn Holden. I think the Cowboys, y'all remember what I said, Bass? Me and you have been talking about this. The lack of speed, the lack of utilization of speed by the Dallas Cowboys. You can tell by this pick by this signing again. Paris Campbell is a very fast wide receiver out of Ohio State, and the Cowboys are still trying to get see if they can get something out of him, if they can get him on the field. So the Cowboys have signed Paris Campbell. The Cowboys have signed Israel Abanikanda, Nick Everett, Marcellus Johnson, Isaiah Land, Zion Childress, one of the favorites, and Julius Wood. So the Cowboys, they're full speed ahead on the 2026 season. Full speed ahead. Quinn Scott said, I'm glad now Eberflus pounds are off. Yes, sir. All right, what else is on X? Kind of thought this was interesting. Looking at the Brian Flores defenses. Brian Flores defense ranked by year. 2019, 32nd. 2020, 7th. 2021, 8th. 2023, 17th. 2024, 2nd. 2025, 3rd. Wow. Wow. Imagine if he had the Cowboys offense. Super Bowl. The Cowboys get this man the players, which I believe they're going to get him the players. I think they already got about 60% of the players he needs in place. If the Cowboys can get Brian Flores, it'll be great. But as you'll notice in the picture, somebody's photoshopped a Raiders outfit on him. Queen said, G, did Flus buy a house or rent? Hope he rented in Dallas. I got a feeling he didn't buy a house, Queen. I got a strange feeling he didn't buy a crib. Yeah. Dak fan for life, preacher that super chat again. Flores. Yeah, I think the Cowboys can upgrade him. I really do. Yeah, JG, bringing in Flores would be epic. Would be absolutely epic. Yeah, it would be great. Let's see here. Chanel said Trayshawn Holden is the big signing. That dude has crazy speed and hands. Yeah. The Cowboys kept some potential dogs. Man, let me tell you another thing to be looking out for. Now, I have said, and I'm not going to be a hypocrite, I've said, I don't want the Cowboys to be trying to pick up no free agent running backs from anybody else. But did y'all see this? Look at this. Just in Detroit, Lions running back David Montgomery on Instagram appears to be saying goodbye to the franchise and fans. For the love of the game, number 5, this post referenced a baseball movie. For the love of the game, David Montgomery was not happy with his playing time this season. Whoa. Wow. Only problem is if somebody wanted him, they gotta trade for him, and I don't think that's going to happen. Yep, I don't think that's going to happen. Legal said, when will we find out the news? I think in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I think they're going to start interviewing. I wouldn't be surprised if Shotty already has somebody in his mind. So we're going to see if that comes to fruition. And then let's see here. Last but not least, another list of the defensive coordinators that are going to be available. Raheem Morris, of course, we know. Jeff Ulbrich. Bears defensive backs coach Al Harris. Cowboys are not touching Al Harris. Broncos pass game coordinator. Heard a lot of y'all bring up Jim Leonard. Denard Wilson. Rams pass game coordinator Aubrey Pleasant. Eagles defensive back coach Christian Parker. Vikings defensive coach Durante Jones. Also become available, of course, Jim Schwartz. Jim Schwartz is going to be big news. So it's just a matter of if Cleveland decides they don't want Jim Schwartz, depending who they bring in as the coach, And so that is everything for What's on X. Man, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Man, I'm excited about the Cowboys moving forward. I think this is going to be another one of those off seasons. I thought the last off season for the Cowboys was great. I mean, I enjoyed every minute of free agency, draft, all of that. I just enjoyed all of it. Getting the trade for George Pickens. It was so exciting last year. And now it's looked like it's going to be even more exciting because I believe the Cowboys are going to go all defense for the most part. They don't need to do anything offensively other than figure out the offensive tackle situation. I said it. I'm going to say it again. If I'm the Cowboys, this is going to be very simple for me. I'm going to sign Brandon Aubrey. I'm going to sign Jadeveon Clowney. I'm going to get Kenny Clark reworked. And then I'm going to sign George Pickens. And I'm going to do that expeditiously. I'm not going to be waiting until after free agency. I'm not going to be waiting till after the draft. I want everything done. I want to get everything done so I know what I need in case I need something going into the draft. I want everything done. So I think it's going to be great. Chanel, I appreciate it, man. You always add to it being a great show. He said another Headbanger Show chat. You all showed out. Yeah, best chat on YouTube. Yeah, best chat on YouTube. And don't worry, guys. I'll be letting you know pretty soon. I'm gonna go look tonight. I had my wife to pull some money out of the bank, so I'm gonna be I'll be letting you know who gonna get what sent out. So y'all keep your fingers crossed. So, again, man, I'm excited about what the Cowboys got going on. I think the Cowboys are headed in the right direction. I'm staying on my original premise. Super Bowl in 2026 for the Cowboys. I believe the Cowboys are going to flip that defense overnight by bringing in the right coordinator, bringing in the right players, some of the foundational pieces that they already have. The Cowboys are going to flip that thing overnight. I'm trusting that Brian Schottenheimer is going to get better in his play calling, understanding what he has next year. And I do believe the Cowboys are going to be one of them teams. And I think they're going to be in the thick of it next year. They're going to be one of the top 6 teams in the league. I think the Cowboys are going to go to the Super Bowl in 2026, no later than 2027. Dak Prescott is going to get that chip. Brian Schottenheimer is going to get that chip for Jerry before he gets out of here. Y'all tell me what y'all think, man. Like, share, subscribe. Until the next time, DC4L, God bless. Let's talk Cowboys when we talk facts. Peace.
Yo, G, bless him, bless him, bless him.